Crossover.
Oh, killer crossover.
Just crossover. It just crossed him over nastily.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
Time for the crossover. Powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. Hello, Matt, Josh.
What up?
There were some basketball calls in that crossover intro. We might have to axe that.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, we'll probably have to change that. We want to apologize to our listeners out there.
What are you guys referencing?
We got an angry email from somebody who did not like that we were talking about the NBA, even though that
On the day Giannis got traded.
on the day that Dusty,
Who sent this
Dusty
email?
May fallout.
Dox him.
Our friend Brian was like, actually, I'll just read it. I don't care.
Our friend Brian.
Just read it.
Sounds
friend.
like no friend of mine. Hater of basketball.
I'll just
You might
read
just hate the NBA though.
I'll just
I
read the
mean-
entire email chain because I really don't
You
care. at this point.
responded? There's a chain?
Oh, there's a chain.
Don't respond.
Oh, I
What are you
respond.
Right?
doing?
Thank you,
I
Connor.
respond. So
I
Brian,
wasn't here when it hit the inbox to just
he actually
talk him off
we
the
did
ledge.
not talk about it until he came on the air and was like, yeah, apparently people were mad we're talking about the news.
Yeah, I sat
Okay?
down at like 1 o'clock yesterday for the first time in the studio, and I'm like, oh, people are mad at you.
So Brian emails
Slow news day, huh?
and NBA again. Goodbye again. With so much NBA and NHL talk, I'm considering not tuning in at all anymore. I've been a 6A to 6P guy for years, but have no interest in either of those sports. It's your show, so obviously talk about the things that you want to talk about.
Thank you.
I'm just letting you know that I know many people who no longer listen to the Midday Show for the same reason.
Many people.
Because apparently that's all we talk about is the NBA and NHL on this.
I have
on
heard
this
We
about
show.
talked
this.
about Harry Potter today.
I've heard about this big support group that's out there. It's called Folks Who Don't Listen to the Midday Show
Yes.
Anymore.
And you've had to defend me along with Michael Severe so much.
I
Well,
said,
These people.
Everyone has.
I
Yes.
said at the very beginning, I told people, I
You want to talk
go,
about a support group? It's the people that have to defend you.
Matt's Defenders is
You're
the biggest
basically-
support group.
We've got a giant text chain and it's going around, and someone's like, "Yeah, I got cut last week."
They got me, boys. They found me.
I recently purchased a large shield
That
says-
says Matt.
Defender of Matt.
He got it from Shield.
So
At the very beginning, I was like, guys, just chill out. Matt's going to grow on you. Don't worry. It'll be fine.
he's like a fungus, you know. He just grows. So anyway, I responded to Brian.
Of course you did.
I go,
Not the right play, but
we talked about Dusty May leaving college basketball and talked 2 minutes about Giannis getting traded. It's called the news, Brian. Okay? That's what I responded with.
That's you've made a mistake, but keep going.
Did he come back?
Brian comes back.
Of
Did
course
you
he did.
respond to the comeback?
Understood. It's your show. Good luck with it. I just thought I would give you some feedback.
good luck with that, Matt.
I was not expecting a snarky reply. You have lost a listener. Respectfully, Brian. I
A
responded.
lot of respect in there, it seems like.
It's Nebraska, Oklahoma.
I responded to Brian. Brian,
Don't stop, Matt. Stop responding.
Yeah, this is on Matt.
I think you've come to learn I appreciate criticism when it's fair. And there are plenty of fair criticisms to give. I know
Many
I am not
criticisms.
perfect. But respectfully,
Stop respecting.
I don't think this was. The two main stories of the day is the aftermath of Dusty May's departure to the NBA and Giannis being involved in a blockbuster trade.
So are you just hammering away your keyboard like during breaks or letting Joey
College
talk,
basketball
or
is a main theme of this show that people are interested in, and I kept the main topic to the best of my ability to college basketball.
Again,
and
I
I
wasn't
kept the
here.
trade talk to a minimum today because of the people who feel the way you do.
I'm really glad that I almost texted you yesterday because I was listening to your show and I almost texted you like what I thought could be a constructive critique. I'm glad I didn't text it to you.
I can't control when you tune in, but I can promise you I've talked about all the fun Husker and college football talks you might enjoy.
Why are you still emailing?
I appreciate you as a listener. I can't promise I'll never talk about the things you don't like, but I will cover the news to the best of my abilities on these airwaves. Respectfully, Matt.
So I assume you typed some other stuff into Chat GBT and they spit that out.
No, I did not.
Was there a response after that?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right, good.
That shut it down. So
All right,
there you go.
I'm glad I didn't text you my criticism.
What was
yesterday.
your criticism? I will no.
I don't think you want to hear that.
I appreciate criticism when
Clearly,
I think the criticism is fair. That was not a fair
Yeah,
criticism.
you went after Brian.
I didn't go after Brian. Brian got mad at me for covering the news.
And then you snarkily replied to him.
Well, you know what? He needs to listen to the show. I do or say whatever I want, okay?
Do you accept responsibility for talking about the NBA? Do you accept this?
Yes, it was the main news story.
That's all that matters.
I want to know what your criticism was or your constructive.
I'll tell you later. I don't think you want to hear it. I think you do want to hear it, but I don't think you'll react well to it.
So I have
I
a
don't know.
question for you, since you said you were listening to Matt's show.
Mhm.
How often did you feel compelled that you wanted to react to something that he said?
Oh, very often.
Yeah, isn't it amazing?
Yeah. Not in a bad way.
He's pretty good at
that's,
it.
Yeah.
That's what I try to say. Like
Yeah.
he's good at what he does because he makes you react to things.
Uh-huh.
Now, this whole crossover, I'm just not going to be able to focus because I'm just
He's
gonna
gonna
be
end it
guessing
like
about
10
what
minutes
happened.
early.
Well,
That
Are
wouldn't be
you
the worst
sending
thing in the
another
world.
email?
Are you going to send me an email?
Oh, no.
Oh, what have I did? You should
At
email
Happen
me
Shape is going to
what
get a
your
tweet.
criticism is. Whoa, my camera's back on. Holy crap. How did that happen? That was
Bird.
very random. No, seriously, my camera has not been working for months. And now it just magically is now working again. That's incredible.
Congratulations.
It is the crappiest new computer anyone's ever received, by the way.
It's pretty bad. It's not fun. I don't enjoy having it. But at the same time, I'd much prefer to not pay for it, which I didn't have to. So
Not
thank
paying
you.
for stuff is awesome.
That's my favorite.
Check out our new fridge.
Yeah. Speaking of not paying for
See,
stuff.
my favorite beer. People are like, "What's your
It's-
favorite beer?"
have
I
you
go,
heard it?
"Free."
No, I haven't.
That's right. You have it.
Thanks, Stibbs.
It doesn't make noise.
I would say my favorite beer is free beer, and then my second favorite beer is the fourth beer, and then my third favorite beer is a summer shandy.
Hmm.
I love summer.
I thought you were going to work the next one. in
No.
there somewhere.
I was gonna be. My favorite beer is the cold one. You know.
I mean, you did that twice in that.
yeah, but more
statement.
creative. It was more creative.
Yeah.
It was a more
Very.
creative way of doing it. Yeah,
I thought
free-
you were just going to say like PBR or something.
No, I don't like people.
That's weird. That's crazy to me that you like shandies, but not like, do you like old style?
I love old stuff.
Okay, it's the
He's
same beer.
from
Yeah.
Skokie.
I very rarely.
I
have
think you're
PBR.
forced to love old style if you go to that many Cubs.
I don't
games.
understand how you don't like PBR then. It doesn't make sense.
I
would
can't
choose
tell
old
you.
style over PBR if you put them in
Mm.
front of me.
Yeah, but not for any real reason, just because. It's just because I'd rather have an old style than a PBR. It's
Yeah, I
less
mean,
readily available. That's why I want it.
Sure. I think like just in general, like having drank both, I'd probably just pick the old style.
I think old style is a souped up Miller Lite. Like I think if you like Miller Lite, just old
I'd say
style.
it's a souped down Miller Lite.
No, it's.
That's more where I'm going with
I
it.
think it's a little bit sweeter than Miller Lite. Like I think it's a
Oh, I
little
don't
bit
get
sweeter and
that.
tangier.
Sweeter.
Miller Lite's got a hint of sweetness.
Miller Lite is sweet.
It's got a hint of sweetness.
So what do you think of shandies?
I love shandy.
That has to be the sweetest thing you've ever tasted
I
in your
know
life.
that's why I love it.
It's like candy. Nom,
I
nom,
know.
nom, nom.
We need to get you to date someone named Shandy. I love Shandy.
I
Shandy's
love shandy.
Shandy, where would that rank on your social security?
That's
name
not
list?
high.
Yeah.
I know one Shandy.
You know what should I put? Should I put on the board? My second child will be named Shandy.
Whoa.
If you're willing to adhere to it.
If you want to rack up more L's.
My first kid will be called Michael Hamilton. That will. Where did that go? Oh, there it is. My kid will be named Michael Hamilton. It will happen.
It didn't go anywhere.
We're going to get a new board.
Yeah, that'd
When
be
we
great.
definitely
Why would they
move.
get a new board when we're getting a new studio?
Well, first off, big clock comes
clock.
before
I want a big
board.
clock.
I talked about Big Clock the other day. The one time I've ever wanted a big clock was when we were at the Omaha baseball.
Yeah,
Yeah, OBV clock.
OBV
that would have
clock,
been nice to have.
big clock. We
Put that
gotta
down
get-
on the list for next
Before
year.
we get a new board, we have to get a new board, which we have had the new board, but we don't have the new board.
Big clock cannot
know
be
what I mean.
that
Anybody
expensive.
can take a new board, but you gotta
Well,
hold. the
if we
board.
can we get a big clock?
Someone's got to set up the new board.
Can we get a big clock and a lotto
it
ball
is.
machine on the same purchase?
Yeah, what I heard
Oh.
about this lotto ball machine. This is an incredible idea. You're kind of stealing it from a very popular podcast, but it's
No,
still
I
is
told
fun.
Schaefer about that. I was like, they do that on Pardon My Take,
Mhm.
where they
Yeah.
pick out a lotto ball, but they just do it for the sake of picking, which is great.
at the end of every
We're
show.
doing
Yeah.
it to tell you a team preview.
So what are we going to do with the lotto machine after we're done with the previews?
Infinity things.
No.
Could you imagine? We'd use it every day.
Well,
Okay.
clearly it's like the deck of card thing where I just have, questions written down corresponding to a number. It gets pulled
What
out.
if you just
boom.
became a lotto ball radio show and you use the lotto ball machine every segment?
I'd be the most entertaining person on earth.
Could I interest you in a wheel instead?
The wheel's been done.
It's been
Okay.
done.
The
Yeah.
I love the wheel.
We've moved on.
I love the wheel, but I need more options.
Did we win that in the divorce? By the way, the
wheel?
when Nebraska football is
I don't
hiring
know
a
that
new
you won
coach.
anything in the divorce.
No, we got Grant the Slate.
And
As far as you know.
hype speeches.
As far as you know, haven't had a hype speech or a slate to grunt since.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, because this whole thing happened during non-football.
Who knows? Our show's before yours.
In
the day.
in the hour.
You guys do end up with a lot of stuff that we've already done.
Man's got a point.
Wait, why are you? Wait, whose team are you on?
I'm on
This
your
is
team.
He's not
ridiculous.
on a team. He's the boss.
They're
no,
making
no, no, no,
facts.
this
I
is
mean,
crazy. I need.
I'm
you
not
know
coming
what?
in at 4 in the morning to
you
do
know
a hype
who's the
speech.
least Matt defender? Josh Hodson. He's the least one.
Yeah, he's got enough defenders.
That's true.
You do have a lot.
Josh
of
needs to zag.
Stop saying it like that.
It's almost like you have
Stop
too
it.
many defenders.
Big clock is $229.
too much defense
Really?
on the field.
Yeah.
Let me see.
BigTimeClocks.biz.
Whoa, okay, that's a lot.
What
for a
did
big
you go?
club.
that's a big clock.
Did you
It's
go
a
to
big
bigclock.com? Where'd
It's
you go?
BigTimeClocks.biz.
Why don't you just go to Amazon, Josh?
I was about to say.
That's what popped up on the Google search.
Did you just type in big clock on the Google search?
Big clock for
You gotta be
wall.
real careful.
Why?
Big clock.
I'm saying you're one letter away from a catastrophe.
Yeah, it really.
That's why Wall is doing a lot of work there.
big
Well,
clock
as far as you know.
for wall. And then Lotto Ball machine. Somebody sent me an email with a link to Alibaba to buy to buy.
A euro to buy a euro?
It didn't. No, that's a restaurant. And it didn't work. The link didn't work. I wanted to click on
Sad.
it though.
Does the clock have to be red?
Yes.
Okay.
It has to
Red
be.
and digital.
I would
Yes.
agree. I'd like it to be red.
Yeah, if it was any other color, I feel like that'd be yucky.
There's
you know?
a
You mean the digital color, right? Not
Yes.
like the outer
Correct.
color.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Back in the
Black-
day, Matt, you don't know this, but back in the day, that's how alarm clocks used to look.
Mhm.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Never owned an
I know.
alarm clock.
That's what I'm telling
That is not surprising.
Well, it's my phone.
Sure.
you. Oh, I know.
Like the reason why I charge my phone at night is because I'm like, I need to be able to wake
You're
up.
now charging your phone?
There were moments where I
Mm.
weren't charging my phone and then I would miss the morning show, which happened once.
$27.
Yeah. Here, Ian just sent me a great video or a great link to a potential big clock.
I can get you a 30-inch one for $100.
That's perfect. Ooh, well, what's the $27?
I think we go big here. Like these are
16.
broadcast clocks that are tied to our thing.
We need
Three-
efficient clocks.
$380.
Couldn't you just get a big
Good luck with
screen
that, Dan.
television and have it as a clock during
Hey,
the show?
hey,
Oh.
no, stop it. Stop giving
We
them
need
alternative
television for
ideas.
television.
22 inches for $63.
That's a lot of inches.
$380
Something to
bucks.
tell
Come on,
me.
guys. It's an investment in clocks.
In
Seriously,
us.
in timing. We are investing in timing.
$380 bucks.
I cannot
I'm
Throw those-
using my investment dollars in preseason magazines.
Yeah, Schaefer's only on the hook for the magazine, and I'm on the hook for the Lotto Ball machine. You have to buy the big clock because you want it so
I
bad.
want the big clock. I want the big clock so Josh can set it up and I could blow right through it. That's what I want it for.
Sad.
I want the big clock just so Josh can set it up and I don't adhere to it. That's why I want it. I feel like I make more of a statement. You know,
I thought the whole purpose behind the big clock was that you would be less likely to blow through it if
See,
it was bigger.
here's the thing: the big clock just turned into principle. You know, it really just turned into.
Mhm.
They
The
told me
big
I couldn't
clock is
have.
like
I guess
the
the
man.
problem here is I thought the big clock had an actual function to it, and you just want it as a symbol, and that's a lot of money to pay for a symbol.
Yeah, the big clock is now the man,
Yes,
like in School of Rock.
give me the stage.
Miss Mullins is the man.
I do get annoyed sometimes where I have to look at the clock and I have to go like,
It is annoying.
you know,
Sitting there is so annoying.
it's kind of tough. And it's like there are moments where it's like, you know, if I had to guess one of Happer's criticisms, it would be that, you know,
You will never guess this criticism because you don't know you're doing it.
I get away from the microphone.
All right.
That
and
is
I
one of them.
sound
That's
a
not
little-
it,
And
though.
I
I'm
sound a
trying to
little
guess.
quiet.
I think I know.
But sometimes I have to get away from the microphone because I have to look at the clock. And if I had a big clock, I wouldn't have to get away from the microphone. I could just look up. Be
You
like,
could.
"Oh, big
Or if you
clock
didn't
there."
have a screen blocking your view of everything. I do that sometimes.
I mean,
That's
you
just-
are the only one here.
That's just kind of tacky, though. You know.
Tacky for who?
You're tacky,
And also
I
now
hate
it's
you.
in my peripheral.
Another
and I
school
don't
frog.
like it. I don't like it being in my peripheral. There's a lot of numbers and
You're very-
colors.
Hey,
You're
have you
very
ever
whiny.
thought about
I am.
have you ever thought about your posture?
Oh, I have terrible posture.
Okay.
Yeah, I have awful posture. I'm like slumped right now,
That's what I'm saying.
big time. It's like I would be the reason why people think I'm 5'10", but I'm actually 5'11" is because I got bad posture.
You're basically a humpback.
Not
I
even
am.
sure people think you're 5'10". Some of us think you're 5'9".
I'm not.
I would say that nobody's 5'10".
You mean nobody's 5'11"?
Nobody's 5'10".
I am 5'10".
If you
and a
say
half.
you're 5'10", you're shorter than 5'10".
I am 5'10" and a half, which is why I say I'm 5'11".
That's even worse. You're definitely not 5'10" and a half.
I am.
No way.
Yes.
No chance.
How tall are you?
I'm probably 5'8" and a half, maybe 5'9".
And I'm a good inch and a half taller than you.
I don't think
How
that's
many
true.
segments are you going to have in the month of June where you have to argue with people about how tall you are?
Well, as long as I'm with you, I mean the number's infinity.
I know we got to figure out how to work this.
But guess what? I put on my
I might
driver's
show up
license.
for the afternoon
5'8".
crossover just to get that going.
5'10", because I'm a liar.
I'm also 5'10" on my driver's license.
That means you're lying. Nobody's
No.
5'10".
I rounded down because people say nobody's 5'11". I am 5'10".
Nobody's 5'10", and 29 is 30, and
29 is not.
brown is orange.
29 is 30. I actually
Brown is yellow.
2965 turned into 3,000 today.
You
on one
would
of my
think this
stats.
because you lie about your height. So of
I
course you
don't
think
lie
this.
about my height,
You're not.
but there
5'10".
definitely is an art of rounding up and rounding down based on your sport argument.
There's definitely.
I've been given the Alibaba link and gotten it to work.
Okay, good. How much does that cost for Lotto Ball?
It says $200 to $339.
That's
Depends on
large.
which one.
Yeah, I don't
range.
know. That seemed high.
Yeah,
What is the?
I would have to get more magazines for us to even that out a little.
and it doesn't look like the typical like bingo with the crank. And
I don't want it to be a
cage.
crank. I
No,
want it to
he
go.
wants. He wants
Okay,
zzz, he
then
wants
this
a-
might be what you're looking for. I'm sorry. This was like when they drew the lottery numbers on TV
Yeah.
and they rolled down the.
So I
the
saw
shoot.
one on Amazon that costs only like $20, but it only went up to number 49. So I think that could be like a patchwork deal in the meantime.
Can we get Joey like an outfit? Like he has a lotto outfit, and he's like the lotto
Who's
lady.
who's the guy that there was commercials in the 90s and 2000s that he would give you a book that would teach you how to get money from the government? Matthew Lesko. Does anybody
Yeah.
remember this?
Yeah, I remember.
He had
this.
like a suit that looked like the Riddler, and he would do these
Mhm.
just like
I don't
awful
remember this.
television commercials.
If you were awake in the middle of the night, you saw a Matthew Lesko commercial.
Really?
Yeah.
I was awake in the middle of the night.
Oh, I mean, he is the Riddler.
Oh,
and his
Chance.
whole thing was that he wrote books that would teach you how to get money from the
Can
government.
we?
Chance.
It's a good clock.
I was gonna say that Chance sent me a link that wasn't 9/11 related, but
It
I am
is.
wrong.
It is.
Of course.
I have questions.
The only time that Chance sends me anything is if it is 9/11 related.
At one point in
I had a great
Mondays,
conversation with Chance at Nick's wedding, and 9/11 never came
Oh.
up.
That's
Whoa.
shocking. to me.
Interesting.
I had a great conversation with Chance at Cindelar's baby shower. 9/11
Yeah, I met Cindelar.
and 9/11 did not come up.
Shocking.
Congrats,
I met
Cindelar, by
Cindelar
the
for
way.
the first time, and I told him to his face that he was less impressive than I had envisioned.
Wow, that's incredible.
I sent Chance a picture of the scoreboard Monday night because at one point Oklahoma had 9 runs and 11 hits.
And did he?
So,
did
Chance
he,
just-
did he edit that picture into something?
No,
Okay.
I don't know what he does with them after I send them.
Chance
Don't
says I
probably
was
won't.
well behaved at the wedding. That's nice job, Chance. But yeah, no, he sent me a
Proud of you.
clock that can tell time, but also has a 9/11 reference.
Did
in
you?
it.
Do you guys know who baby Cindelar's name?
Yes,
Did they? Okay, they told you. Okay.
I have been told.
Okay. Great. Shoot, I was hoping you wouldn't be told.
Would you like to tell the world?
No, I don't
No,
want to tell
no,
the
you
world.
don't
I
wanna
told
do
them
that.
that.
Mavic Master, I have an announcement.
No, no, I do
Someone
not.
else's child is named
no,
this.
no.
You try
I
to
just-
steal fiancés. Now you're trying to steal the naming of a child.
Don't put
You're
steal
aware
and
that this-
child in the same sentence regarding me, please.
You're aware that this child has been born, right?
What?
Yeah.
I thought you said it was happening.
It's over. It's
yeah,
born.
over the
Wait.
weekend she said 3 weeks. It did
Yeah.
not. That's the funny thing about being pregnant. It's not really up to you.
Really?
Born.
So it's out there.
Oh yeah.
Well, I don't know
It-
if it's out there, but the child is out there. I don't know
Okay.
if it's public, but the child is.
I can
out.
read the birth announcement.
Okay, so
Okay.
there has been an announcement.
We had a baby. It's a boy.
That's right. That was from Cindy.
Bob, we had a baby. It's
Congratulations.
wow, that's crazy. So she told me 3 weeks and then what, 12 hours? She probably was.
It was within.
Yo.
It was within like 3 days. Yeah.
That's
Did they go with Michael Hamilton Sindelar?
Like in Seinfeld, where they stole 7.
They did not.
There was someone goes, is there a sponsorship spot available if YouTube chatters buy the big studio a big clock?
Like the big clock gets sponsored.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Someone else wanted to sponsor something for us earlier today too. I forget
Interesting.
what it was.
I want to
They
sponsor
texted about this.
Joey-
you read it on air.
Joey being Vanna White when it comes to the lotto ball. And I want to get Joey a lotto.
I definitely
a lotto
think
outfit.
You're onto something with the dressing Joey up as
Yes.
things.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Get Joey a
but
skimpy outfit, and just have.
I don't know if it's that, but there's a bit in there for sure.
There's like Joey has a lotto hat, and he puts on his lotto hat when he does the lottery. And it's just like it's a big ball with a number on it, and that's Joey's lotto hat. Or instead
I don't know what a
of,
lotto hat
or
is.
instead
but
of
Yeah, I'm-
numbers,
I'm
you
actually
have-
going to Google image search lotto hat to see if there's anything like these.
or you have Joe, instead of putting numbers on the balls, you have Joey put like faces of announcers on the balls, and then it's like, oh, we pulled Joe Buck.
where's
that
Joe
means-
Buck this weekend? He's in Carolina.
There it is. We have two. How about we get 2 separate lotto machines? One for Joey and one for Happer and Schaefer.
Announcers. What?
Yes.
What?
The Happer Lotto or the Joey Lotto
Well, we don't
announcer
need a
balls.
second machine. We just need different
a
set of ping pong
A
balls.
second machine is hit Happer and Schaefer.
No, we just need new ping pong balls.
We got lots of room for machines
A lot of them.
next door,
We have a potentially big studio.
and a whole producer's room that we're just not going to use because the producers are
I still think we should stuff the
Clamoring.
producers in
they're
there.
clamoring to be in the regular room with the regular talent.
Why do you just stuff? Why did you say you
Put
said-
them back there. Put them
Yeah.
back in the corner with their door shut. They can do whatever they want.
That
You know,
talk
the
less.
producers are half the time doing other stuff anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of times where Joey is jamming his hand into his ear so he can talk to someone or not hear whatever's
Yeah.
going on.
I don't
have
understand
that
the downside
That
of
would
this.
prevent that problem.
I'm team
No, a lot
stuff
of
the
it was
producer in the closet.
refrigerator That's no longer with
That's
us.
true.
But
I think it depends on what you're used to. I like Josh being right in front of me.
your dynamic is a little different.
Yeah.
I also like the idea of the producer having like a slightly different sounding microphone.
Oh,
So-
let me tell you who would hate that. Our producers.
I know. I know.
Imagine caring or noticing.
But just like there was like a little fuzz
Uh-huh,
behind them,
uh-huh.
like they're almost in a different location.
That's how it was in Chicago.
That's how it is on sports radio shows.
Mhm.
I love that idea.
They're like it's one sometimes
like
when
here
we were
comes
in-
Joey chiming in, and
we-
he's like, "Yeah, guys," and he sounds like, there's like a fuzz behind him or
They're
something.
now-
Was that a Barry Boy voice?
There's now
That was very funny.
guys.
there's now they're now like in the third iteration of it since I worked there. But at 1000, like when you would hit the microphone from the producer's room, like you could hear it like budge in.
Love
you
it.
You could hear it kind of fuzz in for a second. and
That's
be
what I
like,
want.
Here comes the producer. you
That's
know?
what I want.
Now they're in a much nicer studio where that is not a problem. But when they were on the one that faced out towards Chicago Theater, like that's what it was.
The
What you were
producers.
describing is what I was working in.
Yeah, but like, what's 670 score doing? 'Cause
Yeah,
I have
that's
no
what I
idea.
really want
I
to
have
do.
no
that's
idea.
the real station in Chicago.
Correct. That'd be really what I want to.
Yeah,
Copy this off of.
Sure, they're great stations. They're all great stations in Chicago. you
Now
know?
Matt's trying to angle to work
Yep.
at the score,
Yep.
of course.
He's keeping his options open.
He knows where the next move is.
yeah,
it's-
to that
Wouldn't it be
studio
the
with big
afternoon
clock.
670 the score.
He's just sliding down the timesheet.
Seriously,
Matt shows up at his first day at the score and he's like, I got to be honest with you guys. I'm a big 1000 guy. Okay. I grew up with 1000.
Good start.
I praise 1000. I cherish 1000.
Yeah, you guys are 330 less. That's what you are right now for me.
yeah.
And so this is a real big shock to me.
If I ever go and work there, they'll look at the production sheet and be like, "Why are we talking about Nebraska football today?" Like, what do you mean you want to talk about the 1993 Nebraska Cornhuskers?
Everybody wants to talk about the olden times.
Well, yeah, that's what the Athletic is doing. It's ridiculous.
Hey, don't roll your eyes.
Whoa.
Did you see their number one team?
I have not read, and I don't intend on reading any of the nostalgia 1990 Athletic.
Oh, I think you should.
I got to
I
read
have-
that. Their Rossini piece dropped today.
Oh,
I gotta
never!
read that.
We gotta go. We gotta read that. Hell yeah! Nice. I'll read that. I'm not gonna read about the 90s. Oh, the 90s are so great.
90s were pretty sweet.
I didn't know that you were such a 90s hater.
I mean,
You have 90s jealousy. You're looking at us like, oh, you guys lived through the 90s. That's way
I
cool.
hear about the 90s every
the man
single
bought
day.
an audio
All right?
book about the 90s.
And yeah, it was like, oh, you guys were like, we didn't have phones and we didn't have technology. And we could go 3 days
It
without
was so
our parents
much better.
not knowing where we're at. All I've ever been told for the last 18 months is how much 30 years ago was way better than it is
It
now.
really was, though. It was.
I'm sick and tired
The best
of it.
part is he's also the same kind of person that would buy a shirt because it looks retro from the 90s.
Your generation
And then
loves
wants to
that.
sell it for $50.
You're taking pictures on disposable cameras, you and your 24-year-old friends.
I'm being-
Disgusting.
You are exposing me here. I am the man who bought the Tom Osborne's 1994 pullover, or his champion pullover, and it's one of my favorite things that I wear.
You were like, did you see Barry Switzer's shirt? That thing was awesome.
Okay, but it was pretty sick that it said
you
Coach
love the
Switzer.
90s. You just
No, I
hate that
don't.
we
Stop
love the
it.
90s.
No, I'm just
Did you
mad
enjoy
that-
The Last Dance?
I'm just mad that my favorite publication, The Athletic, is now taking their entire summer to write about an era that happened 30 years ago that isn't relevant to anything
They
that's
did it
going
about
on
the
now.
2000s last year.
Yeah, and
missed
that was whatever. I read it.
Exactly. The 90s were better than the 2000s.
Can I vent
Go.
about something that
Very, very much can.
I want to read the Diana Rossini article.
But I haven't read. I don't even know what you're talking about.
It's the big piece they've been working on about what she did, what she didn't do. It's a New York Times article,
right.
not an Athletic.
Oh,
They're the same.
It's
out
the
of
same
here.
thing.
Yeah, they're the
What's
same.
Quit! I can't read it
Who
because
wrote-
I only have the Athletic subscription.
Who wrote it?
I can't see.
Do we even know? Like, can you name me one New York Times writer?
No, but I can tell
Nicholas
you who's not an
Kristof.
athletic writer.
And I know there's sites to get around the paywall,
Mitch
and I will
Smith.
do that. But
You're just making up names.
No, he went to Nebraska and he worked for the New York Times.
Here it is. The headline is
Who wrote
Diana
it?
Rossini was an NFL quote insider. Was she also out of bounds?
Who wrote it?
good headline.
It was written by a team of Catherine Rossman and Ken Belson.
Those are your NYT guys.
Yeah.
And girls.
Catherine.
Do you actually know that, or
I just know that they're not athletic
Yeah,
writers.
exactly.
Yeah.
Catherine Rossman's bio is quite incredible. She
She's
goes,
a huge lib.
She goes, my purview is broad and can be hard to wrangle into a quick description.
Definitely lib.
In the past year, I have helped report on the tensions playing out in the city as they connect to Israel-Hamas war.
Whoa.
I have written about James Dolan, owner of Madison Square Garden and the Knicks, and one of the most vilified people in New York. I have chronicled free speech issues at universities, and I have recounted a fight between a billionaire
Yeah, that
and a
doesn't sound
millionaire
pretentious
over a
at
Soho pergola. I have detailed the end of the Gerardo Rivera's career at Fox News
Oh,
as I tagged along on a boat trip he and his brother took on the Erie Canal.
oh my god, this is why people hate journalists.
You remember Geraldo in the 90s? No, you don't.
You
I
remember
do.
when he opened Al Capone's vault and there was nothing there? I do.
Geraldo was awesome.
Should I continue on
No, you
Catherine
should not.
Rossman's?
No, I don't like
How
this.
should
long
not.
is this biography?
My background. I joined the Times in 2014 and spent years writing an array of features and profiles for the styles section.
That didn't tell me much.
She also covered the behind the scenes dynamics at the NFL before that.
Mm.
She has a wide ranging. I can read this.
All right,
There's a lot.
I've gotten
here.
around the paywall.
Yeah,
I'm
me
gonna-
too.
I'm going to copy this into a Word
Oh, I
doc.
just saw
And then
poolside.
email it out to everyone you know with the subject
That's a
line.
good idea.
Take that, journalism.
Oh my god. There's a lot. They have written too many words. I'm not going to.
This biography still?
I'm like, yeah, no. This is.
This
Yeah,
is
you've
a
read
Marcy
far
story.
too many of
this
them.
is like a non-TikTok thing,
Thi-
so it's too long
This
for your
is.
brain
This
to
is.
comprehend.
There's like chapters.
It
Chapter
is-
2, Nashville. You were my second home.
It is 13 pages on my doc.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Really not that bad.
I have taken the images out, and it is 11.
Oh my God. Oh, this apparently details like completely in depth her and Vrabel's relationship in Tennessee.
Yeah, that's the
That's
point.
kind of what it
No,
was
but
supposed
there's
to be,
like
right?
actual quotes.
What did you want it to be?
I don't know what I wanted this to be.
Like a 6-paragraph thing
I would prefer it to
that
be.
ended in LOL?
Honestly, I was hoping this would just be a picture article.
Dude,
you know, and
don't
there
worry.
weren't
Just
so many
give it
words.
2 hours and awful
Yeah.
announcing will have the recap for you.
Yep.
You can read that.
I hate our society.
Man's right.
This is 6 chapters.
Oh, it's so bad.
All right. I'm printing this out now.
You're printing it. You're
Yeah.
printing it.
That is a misuse of corporate funds.
Can you print 2? Can you print 2?
You want 2?
Yeah.
Take it 3.
Okay, yeah.
3?
3.
Connor, you
I'll
want one?
just read it on the internet.
Okay.
You sure?
And-
That's bad for your eyes.
Yeah. Real quick, can we borrow some of your highlighters if you don't mind?
Oh, my pencil box? I left it at home.
You know, oh,
Mm.
It's out of my bag. It's not
I
baseball
was.
season
Did you hear
anymore.
about this? I was disappointed by Pencil Box. I thought Pencil Box would be much bigger in blue. I don't know
thought
why
it'd be
I
bigger.
thought it would look like that, but
Maybe next year it will be.
it was.
This is the first I've learned of pencil
It was.
box,
Oh,
so-
Pencil Box is a big deal. Pencil Box is where Connor Happer keeps all of his pencils and highlighters for his baseball season.
It's out of my bag now. It's no longer baseball
I've
season.
done a show with them since January. It's never come up.
He did a great segment where he talked about one time he got fired up by going to Office Max to go and buy all the
Spent like
pencils,
$80.
Mhm.
pencils and pens and highlighters.
Did you get any legal pads when you were there? Those are $20 a pop.
It was a pack of 5 and they were much bigger and I didn't realize. I thought it was just one. I thought it was $20.
All right.
See ya. Crossover powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. It is Matt coming up next.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're gonna hurt some people. Whose car are we gonna take?
I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest.
That's an absolutely horse crap call. Make room for Daddy. But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Chicago is.
This is Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays Matt live and rolling here on the 1620 Zone Radio Network. Matt McMaster is always joined by Josh Odson. 1620 here in the Big O at our 50th and Dodge Studios. Also want to thank our very good friends at 97.7 The Zone in Central Nebraska for tuning in with us today. Going to be a fun one indeed, Josh Odson. We have a plethora of special guests. 11 o'clock, John Walker, the Omaha World Herald, will join us to talk Jays and 5 years to play 5 seasons of eligibility in NCAA football. The news hitting yesterday from Pete Nakos and On3 that officially the NCAA is going to put in the 5-4-5 fifth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fifth 5-for-5 rule for the NCAA. We will talk about that rule. John Walker will also just talk about that rule in general today. A groundbreaking, trailblazing rule, and in the NCAA.
Bless you.
I might have a sneeze attack coming here.
Oh, yeah?
I have a sneeze attack coming.
Okay. What does 5-for-5 mean? What are the pros? What are the cons? What are the details? What are the ramifications?
Wow, it should just be Middays with Josh. You should just take over. That's exactly what I was going to say. You took all the words out of my mouth.
Just as people lose their COVID year, we get a new 5-for-5 year.
There will be lawyers. There will be lawyers.
What a time to be a lawyer.
Dude, seriously. If your last name is Kessler or Heighton or whomever, I mean, if you just don't like the NCAA and you're just willing to read and sue people, you're probably making some good bank right now, winning a lot of these cases. So we will talk about the 5-for-5 eligibility rule. Read some articles on it. It's going to be a little bit more complicated than, hey, this is just going to be a new rule. No, it's going to be quite the longer process maybe than we anticipated. We'll see what happens. According to a lawyer in Florida, there's already 55 basketball players who are ready to engage in litigation in order to get an extra year of eligibility, because according to this new 5-for-5 NCAA eligibility rule, if you have already completed your 2026 season and you were a senior, you will not get an extra year of eligibility. So unfortunately for Jamarcus Lawrence, for Josh Dix, for Jordy Fromm, and all of the other seniors this year who played sports, they are not allowed to come back, and there will be plenty of athletes who are willing to fight that, because time is money in the NCAA. The longer you are now in the NCAA and the longer that you are a good player in the NCAA, the more money you are going to make. And let me tell you right now, there are NBA draft prospects who did not go in the first round yesterday who are very upset at their agency and very upset at the representation that they steered them in the wrong direction, because they could be making a lot more money in way better situations when it comes to college basketball, opposed to being selected later tonight in the second round of the NBA draft. Koa Pete, by the way, going 30th to the Dallas Mavericks at the very end of the draft. If he did not get selected, that would have been one of the stories of the day. The fact that it was his decision to go to the NBA draft or to return to college, where he would have made a lot of money to be an Arizona Wildcat, or really to play at any college. I mean, him on the open market probably would have made what John Blackwell made playing at Duke, which is about $5 to $6 million. If he did not get drafted yesterday at the last pick of the first round, that would have been the story of the day. But that didn't happen. That did not happen. Instead, people are talking about Isaiah Evans and Jeff Goodman and Rob Douster are roasting agents for giving their clients the wrong advice when it comes to going into the NBA draft. We'll talk a little bit about the NBA draft. We have some other things to hit today, but we'll talk some 5-for-5 eligibility. There's also there's a little caveat in the 5-for-5 eligibility rule that says that athletes that are currently in athletic programs right now, they could actually opt to not go into the 5-for-5 program. So they if they want to continue with the eligibility structure that they currently have, they could continue to do that. And so that more so plays into like the players who have had medical red shirts, where if they've had some medical red shirts and if they're by the current eligibility rules, they would have 2 years of eligibility. But by these eligibility rules, they might have 1 year of eligibility because they're getting into their 5th year.
You said that as a question. I'm like, who would deny that? Okay, that would be the circumstance.
Exactly. A player with a medical red shirt, where if you were to go by these rules, they'd be done. They'd be over. But if they were to go by the old ones, they'd have 1 or maybe an extra year of eligibility. So that's an interesting caveat. I have some questions on it. We'll talk about that with John Walker. We also have an incredibly special guest coming up at 12 o'clock today. Coach Strohmeyer from the Iowa Western Reavers. Coach Scott Strohmeyer will join us here. Incredibly excited.
Defending national champion.
Coach Scott Strohmeyer will join us. We talked about it yesterday when we were talking about Brendan Sorsby and his options. Could he go to JUCO? Could he go to NAIA? And you kind of mentioned, I bet Stroh's gone through situations like this. He's had guys with eligibility issues and obviously has had to approach these situations. And so we will talk to Coach Stroh. We're also going to ask Coach Stroh about just this new 5-for-5 eligibility rule too. Like, how does it affect JUCO? How does it affect him? Is he approaching things, approaching anything differently now that you have these eligibility rules? I also have the question, what happens to the Diego Pavia rule? What happens to that? I mean, because of Diego Pavia, if you played JUCO, that didn't count toward a year of eligibility in the NCAA. Does that get erased, right? I mean, is that just gone? Is that just done now? That's what I'm assuming. But Coach Strohmeyer might be a guy who's been told what they're doing in terms of that rule. So we'll talk to Coach Stroh at 12 o'clock today. It's a Wednesday here on Middays with Matt, which means, of course, it's a wacky guest Wednesday where we will talk to a wacky guest. Who will it be? Could be an actor, could be an actress, could be your mom.
That's how the song goes.
Who knows? Yes. We probably need a remastered version of that song at some point.
But if we hang on to it long enough, people will appreciate
it becomes retro, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
We will continue our series, buy, sell, hold, or bet on 2 more teams in college football. We did this about a week ago with Illinois and Washington. We will continue the theme of doing buy, sell, hold, or bet on 2 more opponents of the upcoming Nebraska football season. We will talk about Michigan State and Maryland. Very excited to talk about these 2 teams because, I mean, these are the 2 games you kind of circle on your list that you say, hey, these are the games that Nebraska football are going to be favored in. These are the games that if Nebraska football is going to hit 7, 8 wins this season, like a lot of people would like them to do, they need to beat Michigan State and Maryland. Let's talk about Mike Locksley and let's talk about Pat Fitzgerald later in the show today. 2 coaches on the opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of job security. Locksley, after going 4-8 last season, and they've gone like 2-16 or something outrageous like that in Big Ten play in the last 2 seasons. It's go time for Mike Locksley. 65% of Maryland snaps from last season are returning this season to their team. It's the second most in college football. Only Notre Dame has more returning percentage of snaps returning to their roster ahead of the Maryland Terrapins. Also, there have been some pretty big investments in terms of recruits over the last couple of years into the Maryland roster. Zion Ely, the 5-star, number 2 overall prospect of the class of 2026, the defensive end from the DMV area, will be a terrapin this year, along with Zahir Mathis, also on the defensive line, a 4-star prospect for Maryland. So they've put some money into these recruiting classes to keep some of the best talent in the DMV area around Maryland. So we will talk about Maryland. We'll also talk about Michigan State. I've said it before. Pat Fitzgerald, he's not necessarily a one-year turnaround type guy. That's never really has been his MO. If you look at the history of Northwestern football under Fitz's tutelage, it was a process. It was multiple years in terms of building rosters that were good enough to go to the Gator Bowl, that were good enough to win 10 games, that were good enough to not only play in Big Ten championship games, but compete against Ohio State. People forget they had a lead in that 2020 Big Ten Conference Championship game, and they played, Ohio State fairly close for a good portion of that game in 2018 before the Buckeyes won that one 45-24. But let's talk about Fitzgerald in his new colors, green and white, as opposed to purple and, I guess, purple and black. It's probably what I would, purple and white, just purple in general for Northwestern. Will Fitz turn this athletic department, or not just football program, really, around? Only one team since 2021 has a worse point differential in the Big Ten than Michigan State. Can you guess who the other team who has a worse point differential in the Big Ten other than Michigan State is since 2021? Can you guess? Only one team.
Purdue.
That is the only other team that has a worse point differential in Big Ten play than Michigan State. Everybody else has been better than them and been more competitive than them in this conference. You would have told somebody that 10 years ago. They would have told you, what? I mean, very quietly, Michigan State has not made a bowl game since 2021. Crazy to think about. They're kind of in there. Are they in are they kind of in their mid 2010s Nebraska cycle right now? Will Michigan State go 7 years without making a bowl game? Pat Fitzgerald will try and stop that from happening. So we'll talk about the Terrapins and the Spartans. We'll talk about the 5-for-5 eligibility rules with a couple of different sources today, along with an athletic article from Manny Navarro. His favorite moves of the offseason for every college football playoff team. Mr. Navarro wrote what he thought was the best move for every single team in college football, including the Nebraska Cornhuskers. What did he choose? Was it getting Jeep Wade to be their offensive line coach? Was it hiring Rob Orch to be their defensive coordinator? Was the best move for Nebraska football, according to Manny Navarro, was it Anthony Calandria committing to the Huskers after Nebraska swung and missed on Kenny Minchey, the now Kentucky Wildcat quarterback? We'll talk about it. We'll also talk about, I mentioned returning production for Maryland in terms of them having 65% of their snaps returning next season. It's the second in the nation. Nebraska actually ranks pretty high on that returning snaps list. They're actually 12th in the country in percentage of snaps returning to their roster this season. 56% of Nebraska snaps will be back on this roster this season. But is it about snap percentage, or is it more about roster, legitimate roster production? And where does Nebraska rank in terms of roster production when it comes to college football this season? So we'll talk about that. Talk about a whole host of different topics. We'll mention the NBA draft. I feel great about what the Chicago Bulls did.
Did you feel great about the Bill Simmons pod afterwards?
Oh,
Bulls won the draft.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
He's a big Caleb Wilson guy. He's a massive Caleb Wilson.
I don't know who was on the show with him, but they were both like, yeah, Bulls won this draft.
He loves Caleb Wilson. He actually had the conversation of Caleb Wilson being the number 1 overall pick at one point. The Bulls got him at 4. Admittingly, I'm happy with it. I think he's a superb athlete. I mean, he's kind of everything that you want, other than the fact that he is terrible at shooting the 3-point ball. The thing is that in this era of the NBA, if there's anything that is pretty easily accessible, it is people who can space the floor out. Now, what's not easily accessible is guys who can play defense and space the floor. But you can mix and match, and that's what the Bulls front office, along with their new head coach, Tiago Splitter, is going to have to do. I also like to pick Dylan Swain, formerly played at Xavier under Sean Miller, went to Texas with Sean Miller, 6'6", pretty good wing. The Bulls have no shooting on their team. They just can't space the ball out, but they have a lot of really good athletes and some length, and they can play some pretty good defense. 402-951-1620 is the number to reach us. The Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Prairie Flower Casino, play longer, win more. Don't forget to reach out at us at the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. Equitable Bank, they take banking personally. They always pick up on the first ring. Old Man Doug, shout out. And we are going to be monitoring the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed today because a Diana Rossini article from the New York Times came out, and Josh and I have our reading material.
Printed out some hard copies for my friends.
We have some hard copies. You can see right there. Do you see the underlining there? You see the
taking some notes?
Yes, I am.
You really do want. You did want a highlighter.
I had a teacher. His name was Mr. Costa, and Mr. Costa, because he was from Italy, grew up in Italy. He said, reading does not matter unless you annotate. You have to annotate when you read because you will not remember any of the information and dive far enough into the details. So when I read, I annotate. So we will be reading this Diana Rossini article. But before we do that, John Walker, the Omaha World Herald, joins us. We have a great show for you today. Miley Cyrus is here on Middays with Matt.
Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
It hasn't been too long since the last time we talked to this writer from the Omaha World Herald. He joined us at the Omaha Baseball Village, but he joins us now here at Wednesday at 11 o'clock in his normal slot on Middays with Matt. It's John Walker from the OWH. J-Dub, how are you?
Man, I'm good. I've actually, it's kind of, I felt wrong. I slept in a little bit this week.
Oh my
so
God.
It feels a bit sacrilegious. No, it really does. It really does. So I'm rested.
Wow, that's weird.
I'm good. Yeah, isn't that weird? Welcome to June as a sports reporter, or late June as a sports reporter.
Oh my God.
No, we'll have some I don't think much will happen today, and then tonight we'll await the fate of a couple of Creighton guards, Josh Dix and Nick Graves. I don't anticipate them being drafted, but we'll see what awaits for them after. Is that a summer league contract? Is it a two-way deal? Is it who knows? So yeah, I'm good. All of that to say.
I thought you were going to continue and say something sacrilegious, like you had breakfast as a reporter. That's incredible.
Well, let's not go that far.
Let's talk about the NBA draft yesterday. And first off, do you have a pick of the draft? Do you have like just a pick where you're like, wow, that was a great get for that team? Obviously outside of Dybanska going to Washington.
Yeah. Like I'm trying, like the top 10 picks are like, okay. I'll give you a couple outside of the top 10, but the Kings staying put at 7 and getting Darius Acuff Jr. Feels like a massive win for them.
I agree.
So that's a really good pick. I like the Kingston Flemings pick too. We'll see how that plays out, but I really, really like the Kings getting Darius Acuff at 7. Okay, I'm a LeBron guy, so I kind of like the Lakers by default, but objectively, them getting Cam Carr at 24 is insane. He was projected to go right outside of the lottery.
Wow.
And he falls to 24. And now here's where it gets interesting, because I think less than a half hour ago, they signed Austin Reeves to a max.
Yeah.
So he got 4 for 185. And so it's like, okay, you have your backcourt locked down for the foreseeable future with Luka and with Austin Reeves. And now I understand each one of them has had injury problems the past couple of seasons. So maybe you take Cam Carr in hopes that you can hold down the fort if one of them has an injury again. However, would it have made a heck of a lot more sense to take a center, maybe Vasir?
Yeah, that's what
you could have.
Without a doubt.
I like the Cam Carr pick because it kind of felt like best player available at 24. Again, we're talking about a guy who was projected to go right outside of the lottery, definitely in the top 20 in every projection I saw, and the Lakers get him at 24. So that's a really good pick. I love what the Spurs did, Matt. I really love what the Spurs did because they knew they needed to reinforce their front court.
They did.
God bless Luke Cornett. That was like not a solution when you knew good and well the Thunder were going to reinforce their front court so that they could match up better with the Spurs. And so those two teams are like playing chess with each other at this point. I really, really like what the Spurs did. Like they got the kid from Kentucky, and we'll see how it goes because, of course, he has injury issues.
Sure.
But he's only 18.
Well,
and so it's like, okay, if you give this kid 2 years in theory, if you give him 2 years to recover from whatever, he's still 20 years old and was a potential top 10 pick before all of the injury concerns. So it's like, that's a really good pick. And then I can't remember who they circled back and got later.
You don't remember. Wait till I tell you. They got Terrace Reed from UConn.
Yes. Yeah, they traded with the Nuggets.
That's a hell of a pick for them. Like when they got Reed, I go, well, you know what? Like Luke Cornett was playing a lot of minutes in the NBA Finals. Like that was that was a guy that they had to go to throughout the entirety of the playoffs. I'm like, it does kind of make sense.
Oh, for sure. And so like you get Jaden and you get Terrace Reed, like you feel really, really damn good about that front court, especially if Jaden stays healthy. So we'll see. But regardless, getting Terrace Reed in the back end of the first round feels like a huge win for them as well.
How big of a story would it have been if Koa Pete didn't go at the end of the draft? How much do you think we would be talking about that if he didn't get picked 30th by the Suns?
It'd be huge. And truthfully, like nobody's ever going to complain about being picked in the first round of the draft, right? But where would he have been a year from now if he went back to Arizona one more season?
Mm-hmm.
Would he have been a lottery pick? Who knows?
Yeah. And how much money would he make? How much money would he make, John?
Exactly. So, like, I don't know. We've seen a lot more players over the past couple of seasons in particular opt to stay in college another year because the money is worth it. The opportunity is often worth it. And this is one of those scenarios where, again, we'll see how it plays out, but it seems to not be worth it to leave early. Again, maybe it works out. Maybe he goes to Phoenix and it's a perfect marriage and nobody cares that he was picked 30th or that he didn't go back to Arizona for a year. But right now, based on what we have, which is very limited, it's like, all right, you really didn't want to come back to college for one more year?
Yeah.
That was like the worst possible scenario for you. You really didn't want to do that? So yeah, the conversation would have been drastically different, of course, if he had not heard his name called last night. But I think even the fact that he waited that long to hear his name called suggests that maybe, just maybe, he should have run it back in college one more year.
Yeah, undoubtedly. And you know, that would have been a pretty big story if, you know, he wasn't picked at the very end of the draft. But still, we're talking about guys like Isaiah Evans, who, you know, could have gone back to college, decided not to go back, and instead he's going to be a second round pick. That's an actual guy where you go, you probably should have went back to
So Matt, real
Duke.
quick,
Go ahead.
Here's this for you. I just looked it up real quick. So the 30th draft, the 30th overall pick, Koa Pete slot, gets a 4-year, $15 million deal. It's $3 million a year. And then of course, as a first round pick, there's a player option for the 5th year. So it's a 4-year deal, $3 million a year. Are you really telling me that Koa Pete would not have gotten at least $3 million from Arizona next year?
John, he would have gotten what Blackwell got at Duke.
4 or 5.
Yeah.
Yes.
Easily. And he could have improved his draft stock. He could have made more money this season than he would in the NBA and then gotten into a better slot without a doubt. And the reason I ask you, John, is because I think we're just going to kind of ignore it because he did go in the first round. I still think it's a big story. I still think it's a mistake.
Oh, for sure. Okay. So even if I'm looking at the pay scale now.
Sure.
So even if he had been picked 25th, if he had gone 5 picks earlier, it still would have only been, I'm saying only, it still would have only been $3.4 million.
Sure.
So it's like, he definitely would have made more than that in another year at college.
Well,
we'll see what happens now. Maybe like, I don't know, somebody has to kind of like fall for others to learn to fly. And Koa Pete is not the poster child for like wrong draft decisions. I want to make that very clear.
Sure.
But in this era in particular, we have seen a lot of guys who forwent the rest of their eligibility in hopes of being a high first-round draft pick. And that sometimes materializes. Sometimes it doesn't. In the instance of Koa Pete, at least as far as draft night is concerned, it certainly did not.
I'll say this, like he may not, and I agree with you. Like I still think Koa Pete is going to be a very good player in the NBA. Like
I do too.
I think it's going to work out for him. Will he be a superstar? TBD, but I think he's going to be a guy that will get a second contract. I think the poster child for bad draft decisions might be Malik Thomas out of Arkansas. Freshman, shot 41% from three. He was playing next to Acuff. He decides to go to the NBA draft, and he does not get picked in the first round. He was ranked 29th overall, according to ESPN. He might fall to 35th, 36th in this draft. Think of a guy like that who's going to be a sophomore, who's 6'5", who's 190 pounds, who's a combo guard, who shot over 40% from three. You're telling me that he wouldn't have made more than the second round, slot that he's going to get? Absolutely not. And so I think, this is kind of one of these things where, it's kind of harsh, but there were publications out on Twitter that were exposing some of these agents who told these guys like Evans and Thomas to make this decision. And you know what? I mean, it's a tough business, but at the same time, these are things that kids who are potentially entering the NBA draft have to be aware about, because it's all about maximizing your value when you have it, and it's one of those things where maybe less so Pete, but more so Thomas and Evans might look back and say, I could have probably used one more year in college. Let's talk about years in college. The 5-for-5 eligibility rule, the NCAA passed it yesterday. There will be lawyers, John Walker, but a rule that originally was going to be your 19th birthday or at the graduation of high school, it's since been tweaked to when you turn 19, the academic year that comes, right after that, or when you enroll into college, and that was to protect some prep schools for basketball, along with protecting junior hockey. And some of these NCAA hockey teams who get these hockey players and they come in and they're 20, 21 years old. But your overall reaction to the NCAA passing the 5-for-5 rule, and what might the future, at least the immediate future, of college sport look like?
Yeah, we'll hopefully get the final word either later this evening or early tomorrow. The Division I Council unanimously approved 5-5 yesterday, and then I don't think it's official until their meetings conclude. But barring some unforeseeable last second switch, like, that's where we're headed. And thank God, because far too often over the past handful of years, we have seen people manipulate the medical red shirt and hardship waiver. And some of these kids have legitimate cases. Let's take Jackson McAndrew, for example. You have a guy like Jackson McAndrew who, under the current, soon-to-be old eligibility rules, would absolutely, positively receive a medical red shirt, and rightfully so, for only playing in 4 games last year and then missing the rest of the season with a foot injury. Some people take a situation like that and they try to blur the lines. So it's not with Jackson McAndrew, but in similar situations where they'll play 9 or 10 games. I think you can play up to like 30% of your team's competitions or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So they'll play right up to the border, and then they'll shut down for the season. They'll be like, no. I get that year of eligibility. And it's not my job to rule on whether somebody's hardship is legitimate or not. But the fact of the matter is people manipulated the system. And that's inarguable. Now, under 5-5, there are no red shirts. There are no hardships. There are no medical red shirts. So all of that's gone. All of the uncertainty, all of the murkiness, we hope anyways, is gone. Yeah, I think in the immediate future, we've already seen some of the class of 2022 products, regardless of sport, but I've particularly seen basketball already, who have filed legislation or who have filed suits to try and get a 5th year of eligibility. Those will probably be pretty important rulings. Not probably, they will be. I hope for the sport's sake that none of them get approved. Because if somebody from 2022, the class of 2022, gets approved, what's stopping somebody from the class of 2021 from trying to get approved? Now, the argument's a little bit different, of course, but you bet your sweet bippy they would try. So yeah, it'll be messy for the foreseeable future, but certainly, and especially once we get official word sometime in the next 24 hours, we will hopefully have clarity that college basketball coaches, that coaches across the NCAA have been asking for quite some time.
I want to ask you about this, and I don't know if it'll relate to Jackson McAndrew specifically, because I think no matter how you slice it, he's going to have 3 years of eligibility left. But there is this caveat here in the rule for currently enrolled athletes who still have eligibility after the 2025-26 academic year, and for incoming recruits who enroll for the fall of 2026. Schools will have the option to use previous eligibility rules or apply the new rules, whatever is most beneficial to the athlete. Did you know about that? And is there anyone off the top of your head, at least for, in Nebraska athletics or in Creighton athletics or maybe Omaha athletics, where they would be put under the current, like the old rules in order to maximize whatever waivers they might have had in the past? I don't think McAndrew would qualify for that because he's going to have 3 years no matter what.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
Nobody comes to mind. I dug into it a little bit about a month ago. I'm going to rehash it all again. Either late this week once we get official word or early next week. But yeah, like the direct repercussions for Creighton basketball is they have 2 traditional 4-year seniors on the roster this upcoming season. That's Wes Enos, that's DJ Davis. They will both have 2 years of eligibility remaining because of 5 and 5. They never redshirted. They never took a hardship. They never took a med red. They will get 2 more years of eligibility, so they'll get the benefit from 5 and 5. You have guys like Jason Green and Isaac Trout who are entering their 5th year of college basketball, but it may seem like a while ago. People forget that they both redshirted. Isaac at Virginia, Jason at Creighton. This will be their last year, positively, absolutely. So like that just kind of gives you an example of how it'll affect Creighton's roster directly. But no, I can't think of anybody who would benefit from the soon-to-be old rules.
Sure.
That's a good question. Yeah, I can't think of anybody off the top of my head. Certainly not at Creighton.
Here's a question, you can, because you have some great connections when it comes to, Brian Rosen and Flannery and Coach Huss. Like, I'm very curious, and we're going to have Iowa Western head coach Scott Strohmeyer here on the show in about an hour. Like, how do you now manage your roster? Because you've been managing your roster from a kind of on a 4-year basis, right? And then if you have a red shirt, right, then you carry over into the next year. But now, like every roster across college sports, like you're going to have multiple players that now have an extra year of eligibility that maybe you didn't calculate in the past in terms of incoming recruiting classes. Like, how big of a challenge might it be for some of these teams to re-rack the deck and kind of reorganize everything?
It'll absolutely be a challenge, and a big one at that, because of what you just mentioned. Like, these teams, regardless of sport, are recruiting high schoolers 2-3 years out from their class, right? Like, Creighton is talking to 2028 kids already. 2027 kids, obviously, we've officially entered that recruiting cycle. Like, they're on campus, but they're taking visits and stuff. They won't even be a part of the team until a year from now, right? Like a guy like London Dada. And all of that to say, I don't think it changes too much, Matt. It does. I'm not downplaying it. However, I know, everyone knows, in this era, you're building your team year to year.
Sure.
And you try to have a program in having guys like Jason Green. We'll use Creighton for an example, having guys like Jason Green, keeping guys like Jackson McAndrew, keeping guys like Hudson Greer. That's how you build a program.
Yeah.
Is by keeping your cornerstones. But building a roster, building a team, People are doing that every April. Football teams are doing that every December. So yeah, I don't know. I hope to get down to Creighton by the end of this week and find out how it will directly affect Alan Huss and his staff and their roster construction for the foreseeable future. But I really earnestly, it will change things positively, but I don't know how much it will change.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm speaking from a college basketball perspective because we see so many teams get rebuilt year after year after year. So maybe it's different with volleyball. Maybe it's different with football. But as primarily a basketball reporter, I don't know how much it truly changes. Because
That's interesting.
Like think back to Baylor last year. From 20, I'm trying to think of a non-convoluted way to put this. Baylor's roster last year did not feature a single returner from the season before. Think about that for a second.
Yeah.
Not one player came back from the season before.
Yeah.
So if you're caught in a position like that, what the hell does it matter if they have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years of eligibility?
Well, it's interesting. I don't have the answer, but I wonder also how this will affect high school, because you're going to get rid of a lot of the 24-year-olds and 25-year-olds and guys who have had multiple red shirts and everything like that, right? And so guys, you now have a for sure set timeline of when guys enter and when guys leave, which is good for high school. But now instead of working off of the rule of fourths, right? Because you're like, all right, you got 4 years of eligibility, so you're moving off of every 4 classes, right? Like you're thinking 4 classes ahead. Now you're thinking 5 ahead because you have 5 years of eligibility. And so how might that affect the numbers in terms of how many guys can you bring in for each class? And that's kind of across all sports, right? So, well, in just using math, you would think that the recruiting classes would get smaller, right? Because you now have one extra class. But now at the same time, guys are gone when guys are gone. And so that'll help kind of the replenishing from high school sports as well, right? So it's like you still have to have a pipeline from high school sports in order to be relevant. But you're right in the regard that you're still working off year to year, right? Like you're still going off of year to year. And so you're going to still have Power 5 programs who are more interested in getting 22-year-olds and 23-year-olds who have 1 or 2 years of eligibility compared to getting 18-year-olds. And so, there might be a natural progression of things in terms of you see more high school athletes go to smaller schools, work their way up, and then maybe it's all fascinating to me. And I think this just changes so much. And you and I could have a whole podcast about it.
It does. Let's look at this really quick. I won't keep you too long.
Sure.
Here's
it's me who's keeping you. I'm keeping you too long.
we're talking about high school kids, and it's like, okay, let's use 2 prime examples that everyone listening to the show can probably relate to. I'm going to start right here in the backyard. Previously, you'd have a kid like Cottrell Harmon come to Creighton, and the expectation or the assumption would be, oh, they just brought in a bunch of guards from the transfer portal. He's a freshman. He's going to redshirt.
Yeah.
That's the natural progression. Jason Green did it 4 years ago. Isaac Trout did it 4 years ago. Virginia, it's just very natural. That's how it was forever and ever and ever. Now, those kids can ball right away. And you don't have to worry about, like Creighton did last year, do we burn Hudson Greer's red shirt? Do we keep it? Do we? No. This opens the door for younger players. Now, they'll obviously still have to earn their minutes because they'll be competing against 22 and 23-year-olds. But, there is nothing hindering younger players as far as, opportunity's sake because they're not strapped down by the red shirt anymore or won't be. So that's really interesting. Likewise, to wrap this whole thing together,
sure,
a guy who's going to have 2 years of eligibility moving forward is Anthony Calandria. That now opens the door to do for Nebraska and who knows what happens between here and then, right now and then, that would in theory open the door for Nebraska to let Trey Taylor either compete for the starting position or, depending on how this season goes with Anthony Calandria, learn from him for a year as a, quote, red shirt, even though it's not, and then take over the season after. So, like, it's just a really, really interesting situation. But a year from now, you wouldn't have to say, oh, we can't play Trey because we have Anthony Calandria, and we'd rather save a year of eligibility for Trey Taylor.
Sure.
No. Bump that. That whole concept is gone because their clock starts ticking the day they step on campus. Whether that's as a 19-year-old who has the full 5 years of eligibility, whether that's as a 22-year-old who comes from Croatia and they have 2 years of eligibility or a year, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter. So I'm interested to see how that affects roster construction, sure, but like in-season management for these teams, not just Creighton, not just Nebraska, but across college athletics, because like let the kids play.
Sure.
If the kids can play.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I to one-up you here, and it's crazy to one-up you from the starting quarterback of Husker football. It's like the one beat you don't cover. It's literally the one thing you don't write about. But, like, what about Nebraska volleyball and Bergen Riley and Harper Murray and Andy Jackson?
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Like,
they could be fifth-year super seniors.
Exactly.
Who wants to play against that?
Exactly.
And like, good for Nebraska. I'm just saying that's like facing the damn 73-9 Warriors. If you have to play fifth-year Bergen, fifth-year Harper, fifth-year Andy, like, come on, man.
Yeah, crazy.
So, it'll be really interesting. And as we know, like, Nebraska volleyball annually has one of the top recruiting classes.
So what happens there
for high schoolers?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so now you're asking. I don't know who they have, so I'm spitballing here. You're asking the number 2 outside hitter in the country to come sit behind Harper Murray for a year? Now, let's be clear. That's not a hard sell.
Sure.
By any means.
Sure.
That's not a hard sell. But that person was the high schooler was probably banking on at least some semblance of an opportunity as a freshman. And if Harper Murray's there, rightfully so, Matt, I want to make that very clear. You're not giving a freshman that opportunity.
No.
Like, maybe sparingly. But for that freshman to be on the court, Harper Murray would have to come off of it. And are you taking a fifth-year Harper Murray off the court?
No.
Oh, no, you're not.
No.
So it'll be really interesting to see how all of it, the ripple effect that it has, off season to off season, recruiting cycle to recruiting cycle, game to game, week to week, you name it. Like this will all be really, really fascinating.
John Walker, the Omaha World Herald, for an extended interview, but it's a very important topic. I appreciate you, my friend, greatly. We will talk to you soon, all right?
Yes, sir. See you.
John Walker, Omaha World Herald. Oh, I mean, look, I know that was a long interview, but let me tell you something right now. I mean, this is it's a groundbreaking topic. That's a groundbreaking rule that's going to be established in the NCAA and something that is going to change a lot of things. And the way that coaches used to look at recruiting classes and the way that coaches would structure their rosters are going to change. And it's going to be very interesting to see that some of the decisions that are going to be made, not only just from high major conferences, but from the top to bottom in the NCAA. We will continue to talk about it over and over and over again throughout these next couple of months here on Middays with Matt. But coming up next, I'll tell you, am I buying, am I selling, am I holding, or am I betting Maryland and Michigan State? Do I believe in the two teams that Nebraska football will play this season? Find out next here on the 1620 Zone Radio Network.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Diana Rossini had been busted. It was January, Miss Rossini, then the NFL star reporter for The Athletic, a sports publication owned by the New York Times Company, had been pulled over by a police officer while texting and driving with her two young sons. It was the second time in a month. She would later recall that the police had stopped her. On this occasion, Miss Rossini tried to fend off a ticket by telling the officer the coach of the Buffalo Bills had been fired and she was trying to break news. The officer was unmoved, telling her he was a fan of a different team. That's when she made him an offer. Maybe she could connect him right then and there to his favorite team's coach. Do you want to talk to the coach? You should talk to the coach, Miss Rossini said she told the officer as she recounted in the incident a couple of weeks later on the Stu Gatz and Company radio show and podcast. I FaceTimed the head coach, she said. Head coach in his office. He said, "What's up?" I go, "I just got pulled over and I wanted you to meet my friend, Officer Joe." The coach helped her get out of the ticket by telling the officer, "You should let her go. She's a good citizen," Miss Rossini said.
She's a good egg. Let her go.
That's the New York Times article that Josh and I are currently reading about Diana Rossini.
I haven't even started it yet.
I am 4 pages in. I have notes and annotations.
I hear that's the way to do it.
It's a very well-read article. I'm about to get, I just finished chapter 1. How can I beat everybody? ? I'm now about to go into chapter 2.
What can I do that no one else is doing? I've got it.
I'm about to start in chapter 2, which is titled Nashville, You Were My Second Home. Very strategically titled. So we will be giving you excerpts throughout the entirety of today from this riveting 13-page article written in the New York Times. By the way, it was later written here that a Times Company spokeswoman described the description of her getting out of a ticket by calling a head coach unacceptable conduct, adding that athletic editors had been unaware of it because Miss Rossini neither sought nor received permission to appear on the podcast as was required by company guidelines. So doing whatever she wanted, Diana Rossini at the Athletic.
Seems to be a theme in her life.
Just doing things, not thinking that there would be consequences, thinking what she's doing is actually cool and what she needs to do. Is that what you're getting away from this article so far?
Yeah, in your couple
my excerpts.
Yeah, a couple of excerpts. That's what I'm getting.
It's a well-written article. What's also a mildly well-written article is the ESPN College Football Preview Magazine, which I'm about to move off of. I'm very excited to get my Phil Steele, but more importantly, my Pick 6 previews from Brett Ciancio, which is dropping in less than a month. Fired up for that. We'll have Brett on throughout the college football season. Buy, sell, hold, or bet, a series of segments that we will be doing throughout the entirety of this college football offseason before we lead into the first couple weeks of the season. Two teams that I am going to talk about today when it comes to buy, sell, hold, or bet. We did two teams, Washington and Illinois, a couple of weeks ago. They are two teams that are going to play the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Let's talk about Michigan State and Maryland. Two teams that will also play Nebraska this season. Am I buying, selling, or holding, or betting on either of these teams? Let's talk about Michigan State. They bring back their quarterback, Milovijevic is his last name. 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 1,267 yards last season in his final 4 games of the year. Bringing in a UConn transfer, Cam Edwards. He rushed for over 1,000 yards for the Huskies last season. They are being taken over by Pat Fitzgerald. Fitz, obviously known at his time at Northwestern, 2 Big Ten title appearances, along with multiple 10-win seasons and a plethora of bowl wins in his time at Evanston before he was unceremoniously let go as the head coach of the Wildcats after the 2022 season, where he only won 1 game. He went 1-11 in his final season at Northwestern. Funny enough, the 1 win, I think a lot of you know, was over Nebraska in Ireland. I do want to mention that the next season that Northwestern ended up winning 8 games. They were 8-5 after a bowl victory over Utah. David Braun was the head coach of that team. If that team was coached by Pat Fitzgerald, they would have won more games than 8.
A bowl win over Utah?
Yeah, can you imagine?
Thought that was impossible.
He now goes to Michigan State after multiple years off from coaching in the Big Ten. He was coaching high school football, though, in Illinois, where for one of the better teams in the state, high school teams, is Loyola Academy Ramblers. But still, came in. Their transfer portal ranked this season, Michigan State was 55th in the country. They had 29 commits in their transfer portal class. They brought in nearly 30 new players, yet they only ranked 55th overall in the country. They had no 4 or 5-star commits. Their quarterback might be good, and their running back might be okay, but their D is held together. Their D line is held together by duct tape right now. This is, Fitz is not a quick fix guy. He is not a guy that's going to come in and he's going to completely turn things around. And unfortunately for Michigan State, yeah, they hired a great former coach who had a tremendous amount of success in his last stop, but a little bit like Matt Rule, it's not like Fitz came in and brought a whole bunch of guys with him. He had been out from coaching in college football for an extended period of time. And so this rebuild at Michigan State, a rebuild that has been going on, it seems like forever, and they haven't made a bowl game in over 5 years. Like, this is going to take some time. This is not Fitz's MO. It's never been his MO to turn things around quickly. In 2018, they made the Big Ten championship. In 2019, they only won 3 games. In 2020, they made the Big Ten championship. In 2021, they won 3 games. They won 4 games in his first season at Northwestern. Fitz is not, and by the way, hasn't done the things either to make me think that he's going to come in and all of a sudden Michigan State is going to tear up the Big Ten. They eventually will be good, and they eventually will be competitive again in this conference, but not this year.
We have a comment from official critiquer of Middays with Matt, Connor Happer.
Milivojevic. Thank you so much. Milivojevic. I believe his first name is Alicio Milivojevic.
There you
That's
go.
a good one. Alessio Milivojevic. Mid. He's mid. He's fine. He might be good. I am selling the Spartans. Maryland, 4-8 last year. Like Maryland does, won a majority of their games in the beginning of the season, starting off 4-0 before losing 8 straight games. I do want to mention their Week 5 game against Washington, they lost by 4. Their Week 6 game against Nebraska, they lost by 3. And their Week 7 game against UCLA, they also lost by 3. They very easily could have won 6 to 7 games last season if they were to turn over those close results. Malik Washington was their true freshman quarterback last season, 3,000 yards, 17 touchdowns, 9 interceptions with a 58% completion percentage. They bring back the second most amount of snaps this season. They have 65% of their snaps returning. Only better than them is the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. On top of that, D-line was a problem for them last season. They were one of the worst rushing defenses in the country, 175 rushing yards per game. They ranked 15th in the conference. They added 11 scholarship players from the portal on their defensive side of the ball. 4 of them were on the D-line, along with adding a 5-star in Zion Ely from the DMV area. They have 14 returning starters total coming back from last season to this season, along with all of those snaps coming back, and you can combine Ely's talent on the defensive line as a 5-star with Zahir Mathis's talent. He was a 4-star in the class of 2025, also on that D-line. Bring a lot of guys back. They bring their running back core back. They bring their quarterback back. They bolstered up the defensive line. They added some really interesting high school talent. Their over-under this season is 4.5 games. Now, you can bet that. I was looking on FanDuel here before we came on the show. You can bet that at minus 173. Josh Hodson, for the first time in buy, sell, hold, or bet, I am betting on the Maryland Terrapins. They are the first
Whoa.
Mick future on the board.
Whoa.
Minus 170 on most sports books. I'm going to take Maryland over 4.5 wins this season. They play Hampton, Connecticut, Virginia Tech, UCLA, Nebraska, Ohio State, Rutgers, Illinois, Purdue, Wisconsin, USC, and Penn State. They avoid Indiana. They avoid Michigan. They avoid Oregon. They don't have to play a daunting schedule. And I look at the Rutgers, Illinois, Purdue, Wisconsin, UCLA, Nebraska, Virginia Tech slate outside of their 2 FCS games as winnable games for this team.
Their win total on FanDuel is 4.5.
4.5. I'm hitting the over. I am taking the over.
Minus 170 on the over, plus 138 on the under.
I'm taking the over. This is our first Matt Mick future of the college football season. Maryland over 4.5. That's buy, sell, hold, or bet. Coming up next, we'll do a quick edition of the odd news before we get to head coach of the Iowa Western Reaver football team, Scott Strohmeyer, all here at the 1620 Zone Radio Network.
I might have to remind you of a time of yesteryear, I guess.
Oh no, have we lost the internet? What happened here?
No.
Okay.
The internet is back. It was gone during our
Good.
commercial break. That's
Good.
why the stream might have sounded a little weird there. But
Sorry.
back in the day, people used to burn CDs for themselves and others. Like you would take a collection of songs you
Can I
liked
be
and
real with you?
rip them onto a disc. Yeah.
I've heard of the term burning and ripping, but I've never seen it physically done before.
Okay.
And I'm going to be real with you. And this is me being naive.
Mhm.
I don't know what it physically looks like to burn a CD.
Okay. There were blank CDs that they sold, and people would buy them and just kind of curate like a playlist, one song at a time, and just kind of.
You would put
it on a blank
so
CD.
you could have a custom playlist.
Yeah.
So you would have to burn this. Oh, look at that! That's interesting. You guys were creative.
We were. We got around it. It was also illegal. For a long time.
I actually didn't know that either. All right, look, you learn something new every day. This is almost like Thursday at 12:45.
We'll get to that. In 2018, a 4-year investigation was launched into copyright infringement against a guy who burned CDs for his friends. He has just been sentenced to 2 years in jail for burning CDs.
What?
For burning
what?
CDs.
That is crazy. You're going to go to prison for that?
Prison for 2 years in the year of our Lord, 2026.
That is insane. That is crazy.
A UK man, and here's the problem with it. A UK man has been sentenced after pleading guilty to unauthorized mixing and selling of music CDs, breaking copyright. You can't sell them.
You can't sell them. Can't be in.
But still, you imagine that stereotypical prison conversation. What are you in for?
Yeah, well, I really liked doo-wop from Lauryn Hill, and I wanted to combine it with my Garth Brooks playlist. I wanted a little bit of hip with my country.
Nobody had ever combined those two before so I had to make it myself.
I thought the rhythmic sounds of R&B would mix perfectly with the soliloquies and subtle tones of Garth. It became so popular that when I sold them, I'm now in the clink. What are you here for? Oh, I killed a man.
But it doesn't seem as severe as yours.
No, seriously.
18 months in jail, 250 hours of community service work for this Yorkshire gentleman.
All right, that's the least surprising thing of it all, by the way, that it's from the United Kingdom. You know what I'm saying? Like they hand out.
This would get thrown out in an American court, right?
Like, God. No, I think the judge here in America would be like, son, I got 37 cases today that are more important than you putting Lauryn Hill and Garth Brooks on the same CD. Okay. Actually, are you still selling that, sir? Is that still a playlist I can buy? I'm very interested in
Talk to the bailiff after the not show, but after the show. Talk to the bailiff.
That's crazy. Sorry for one odd news story. We got a little.
That's okay.
Got a little long here with John Walker, but that was a great conversation we had, and you can find it on our radio replay page with John Walker. But coming up next, a very special guest, Scott Strohmeyer, the defending, reigning national champion coach of the Iowa Western Reavers, joins us next here on Middays with Matt.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Don't forget to go to the 1620thezone.com website and enter into a bunch of different contests that we have available. The Post Malone sweepstakes, Friday, July 17th at Jack Trice Stadium, along with the Black Keys, who are in Omaha, the Young Giant, August 3rd at Astor Amphitheater, Chris Stapleton at Pinnacle Bank Arena on October 7th, Motionless in White at the CHI Health Center November 11th, and Burke Kreischer at the Mid-America Center in the Metro on December 6th. Go to 1620thezone.com and enter yourself with the opportunity to win your way to those great shows. We are joined by an incredibly special guest. The second time that this person has appeared on Middays with Matt. He's a 4-time national champion, a 2025 national champion with a 12-1 record at Iowa Western Community College last season, along with 7 former Reavers being drafted in to the 2026 NFL Draft. We are joined by Scott Strohmeyer, the Iowa Western head coach. Coach Stroh, how are you?
I'm doing good. I appreciate you having me.
Appreciate you coming on. It was funny. Josh told me that you were listening to our segment yesterday when we were talking about the 5 for 5 eligibility, along with talking about Brendan Sorsby and his denial into the NFL supplemental draft and what would the next steps be for him. And it was funny in that moment, we kind of both looked at each other and said, hey, Coach Stroh would be somebody great to talk to this about, because you've had experience with a situation very similar to this with Hunter Deckers, your quarterback from a couple of years ago, who, I was reading his kind of his situation not too long ago, and it is very similar in terms of, him gambling on games that he was a backup quarterback on when he was at Iowa State, and then he became your starting quarterback where you guys won 11 games that season. So if you could just, I'll give you a hypothetical here, Coach, and maybe you can relate to some of your experiences in the past. Let's say I'm, Brendan Sorsby's agent, and I'm looking for Brendan to play college football this season. I'm looking for him to play quarterback at Iowa Western. How would you approach that conversation, and what would be some of the questions you would ask and some of the things that you would want to know before a coach like you would make a commitment to this athlete?
Well, I think, there's lots of research that, has to go by. You have to have people that you can rely on, and ask those questions, ask questions and get a little bit of a background, I think, is the biggest thing. And obviously in our situation of, with the Iowa State staff at the time and talking to them about, Hunter and who he was as a person, and, kids make mistakes, they do. And so you got to do a lot of background, I think, as much as you can, and hopefully, somebody. I think that's the biggest challenge today is in all those situations. Are they remorseful? Did they understood that they made the decision, or is it a blame game and they're picking on me, and all those types of things. So you got to kind of get a feel. And just like when I met with Hunter and his parents they came on campus and we talked, and he understood. Yes, he made a mistake, and lots of kids do, and not just in that situation. We've had many other players in different situations. How do they respond to those situations,
Sure.
and how do they answer those questions, I think, are a big thing. And nowadays, sometimes with agents, it's tough because they're prepped on how to answer those questions, and so you got to kind of filter through all that as well. But I think the biggest thing is it's not a blame game, and you gotta take those consequences and the responsibility for your actions, I think, is the biggest thing.
Yeah. And Coach, last time that you came on the show, albeit it was Wacky Guess Wednesday, but you and I had a great conversation about how you at Iowa Western and other JUCOs around you are getting players that you wouldn't have gotten in the past, and it has to do with some of the eligibility rules and the changing landscape of college sports, that you were just getting high quality football players that maybe in years past you weren't able to get. And so I ask you that, saying, with the quality of JUCO football, in your opinion, rising, do you think that a guy like Sorsby going to JUCO and also looking to improve his draft stock, do you think that would be the best decision for him?
Well, number one, I've had some. You'd be surprised at how many people reached out to me when this all went down. But he doesn't have any JUCO eligibility left.
Oh, okay, good to know. Thank you.
Number one,
Yeah,
because he played actually 4 years, but the 1 year was the 4-game red shirt, I'm assuming, and then he played 3 more years, and then so he really only has 1 year of 4-year eligibility, I guess, left. But once the NAIA or once the NCAA says you can't play in the NCAA, it even bans them from the NAIA, because they kind of follow the same stipulations to the NCAA in regards to that. And the only reason I know that is because in Hunter's situation, there were some NAIA schools that were recruiting them, but they couldn't take them because they had to follow the NCAA. So I don't know what the options are. I think, but there was a lot of people that reached out to me in that same situation, or in the situation of, thinking I was going to be the guy that was going to take them.
Let's move on to this conversation. I appreciate your info and relating back to your experiences. But something else significant happened yesterday that could potentially affect you, and it could potentially affect JUCO. The 5-for-5 eligibility rule in the NCAA, in terms of now athletes, when they either enroll into their college or when they turn 19, and then following that academic year, they have 5 years to play NCAA sports. Just overall, before I get into the nitty-gritty details about how that affects you on JUCO, your outlook and your overview of this rule that the NCAA is going to try and finalize here.
Well, and I think there's some really there's some positive things to this, and I think it's just kind of helping. The amount of lawsuits and things that have come on with more people getting more years of eligibility, and that's the easy way of doing it nowadays. But I think it gives us a little bit more of a timeline, a guideline, and we actually lost a kicker that was from Ireland. He was coming here, and he's a little bit older, and he knew that because if this is going to pass, that he can play for us 1 year, and then he's going to have to go to the NFL. Well, he did some appeals or whatever, and so he's going to Division I right now. But so I think we're dealing with. I kind of go back to the COVID era, where everybody got that fifth year of eligibility. So we're kind of going back to that a little bit, just from a standpoint of, for our kids getting recruited with the amount of roster limit spots that are open. It's going to help us again in the high school, because there's going to be less high school kids now that these kids are going to opt into their 5th year of eligibility. And so we're going to kind of navigate it through and take it day by day. But those are the first things that came to my mind of, it's going to bring us back to that, 2021 time where those guys all got that extra year. There's 10 seniors and 5 of them decide to come back. That's 5 less scholarships for, high school kids or whatever it may be. I think it's good, though. I think there's got to be some, we hear it all the time or see it all the time, but, you can appeal this, you can appeal this, you can appeal this, and getting, I got 6-7 years in college. I think it's a step in the right direction, in my opinion.
Well, I want to elaborate more on your point, right, in terms of less high school players. And you're referring to the immediate impact, right? Because we've been going through today and talking about, players that are, heading into this season only had 1 year of eligibility. Now that they're going to have 2, right, because of this new implementation of this rule. But overall, coaches, you're kind of working on a 4-year basis, right? You're working on, every 4 recruiting classes, because you have 4 years to play. And then maybe you do the math in terms of some guys taking red shirts and some guys not taking red shirts. But now, because of this rule, you're not working off of 5 recruiting classes because you have 5 years of eligibility. Yep. Do you think now that you have that extra class that you're not going to have 5 different classes in your roster every year, do you think that in a long term might affect high school recruiting as well?
Oh, it's going to. I mean, anytime, like I said, and the thing is, they're going to operate the junior and seniors kind of like we operate as a junior college, right? He could come back, he might leave, he might retire or not play anymore, he might go to the NFL or whatever it is. So their roster is going to be kind of in limbo a little bit, right? Sure. Until those guys make those decisions. But I think on our end, because we redshirt guys, at our level. Well, now, and with our roster limitations and the things that we have to do from in-state, out-of-state, border state, you can. In the past, I would never play a kid past week 5, right? Yeah. We're not going to waste your year of eligibility. We're going to save it. Well, now it's a year of eligibility, right? Sure. So it's going to change from how we approach our game every single week, but it is going to continue to affect, some heights, just because they're not going to know their rosters, until later. And these kids, I don't know if there's a deadline that they have to make the decision or appeal at their 5th year. Early these next couple years anyways, but after that, it kind of will be clear cut.
Yeah. And it'll be interesting too, where, you're going to have less 24-year-olds and less 25-year-olds in college sports, but at the same time, you're still going to have plenty of teams who are going to want to have 21 and 22-year-olds as opposed to taking high school recruits. That's still kind of that. Yeah. This 5 for 5 doesn't solve that necessarily. And so do you, I mean, do you think, like, right now, right? We talked about this the last time you were on, the quality of player that you were getting was higher than what you had gotten in the past because of all this, crazy stuff that was going on. Do you expect that to uphold in the junior college level, even after them figuring this out?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, I mean, just because there's less spots, and the kids don't have, and if they want to play at that level and they're not getting that opportunity, here's the great opportunity, right? You can play for, 1 year and still have 4 years of eligibility. I mean, in the past, like, we would have guys that would redshirt, play 2 years, and have 2 years of eligibility. And a lot of the 4-year schools would be like, okay, 2 years, a 2 for 2 guy is not as intriguing as a 3 for 3 guy, sure. 3 years to play. And so now, even if a kid comes here and plays for 2 years, 3 years, they think, because usually they say, like, the first year of a junior college kid, that unless they can get in there in the mid semester, but if it's the end of the year, it's almost like, okay, it's going to take a year, right?
Yeah.
And to get them ready to play. Well, we have so many qualifiers that can leave, after, 1 semester or 1 year, that now you get a kid for 4 years. I mean, that's pretty important,
sure.
And then, okay, so you don't get your opportunity and you come back and you play for us for the 2nd year. Well, you still have 2 years to go.
Yeah.
Or 3 years to go. I'm saying, what I mean?
Sure.
So it's going to be interesting. And like I said, since 2020, we've always dealt with something. It was that COVID extra year, and then it was the transfer portal. And I mean, we're adapting every single year, and we just got to kind of take it in stride and kind of adapt as we go. I don't know where it's going to go from here. I think it's a good thing. Mm-hmm. I do. It'll help us in some ways as well.
Head coach Scott Strohmeyer, the Iowa Western Community College Reavers, the 4-time national champion. Coach, real quick too, Josh and I were talking about this off air, and I think you've kind of alluded to it with how you've talked about it. The Diego Pavia rule of, JUCO eligibility no longer counting for the NCAA. Do you anticipate that to now be kind of wiped out, that is no longer going to exist?
I would guess.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be my, that's one way, just because, like I said, they've dealt with it since that past with him. Like there's many junior college kids that, tried getting that extra year back. So I think this gives them a little bit, you go back to when you graduated high school at 19 years old, you start your clock type thing. So I think it clarifies some things that way.
Sure.
And, I would assume there's going to be some, just like everything, there's going to be some waivers and some things, appeals that you can try. But I think this is a way for them to try to solidify it a little bit, that they don't have to deal with all those litigations down the line of here's the rule and here's how it goes. And, it's no different than the Sorsby thing, right?
Yeah.
There's rules in place and you break the rules. Unfortunately, there's consequences, and if you agree or disagree, it don't really matter, but there's consequences.
Coach, this might be the last question. I don't know. Settle a debate. Have you ever burned a CD before?
Absolutely, I have.
You have. Okay.
Do you remember what CD?
That's
Do you remember
how
what you
that-
burned
that-
onto it?
Oh my gosh, I don't. But we did it a lot with film, right? So it wasn't. It was a lot of times we had to. We started with VHS, then we went to CDs or DVDs, I should say. Burnt DVDs. I probably burnt more DVDs than I did CDs. From like coaching clinics and things like that, you would burn them.
Yeah.
But we did it with film all the time to pass them out. And we had to pass out DVDs to the kids. That's how they watch film.
I just educated Matt on the idea of burning music onto a disc. He never lived through it.
I've never lived through it before. I mean, I've heard about it
That's
before,
crazy.
Coach Stroh, but I never had to do it.
Yeah, you'd have buddies that would, they'd buy it and you could just burn the music or whatever. And I'm not a huge music guy, but you could burn a CD or DVD to have your movies or whatever. You download those apps at the time.
Sure.
Then we went to USBs. So we went to little jump drives, and that's how we gave out the film.
Well, I do know what a flash drive is. I did have to have that. I did.
Good clarification. Thank you.
I was required to have a flash drive. I had a surfboard flash drive in grade school.
Yep.
It was like a surfboard, and then I pulled it out, and that's how we downloaded some things for computer class on there.
I'll have to tell you something that's really crazy because I still have. I'm just opening up my desk drawer. I have a CD with old files, but I can't get to them because I don't have anything to put the CD into. I also have a 3.5-inch floppy disk. That kept all my files in the past. I have 3 boxes of them sitting in my desk.
That's incredible. That's absolutely. I do know what
I can't access it.
Why can't? Well, we got to find you a computer to put that thing in.
I know. I gotta find. They got adapters. I'm assuming for.
There's this building on campus called the library. I think that might be the place to start.
Coach Stroh, thank you.
Look into that.
Yeah, Coach Stroh, thank you so much for joining us here on Middays with Matt. We really appreciate and giving us all your expertise in terms of situation. It's someone who is literally living through all of these changes and all these kind of rule adjustments. So thank you so much, Coach Stroh. We appreciate you as always, and we look forward to talking to you in the future.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me. Thanks.
Scott Strohmeyer, the 4-time and defending national champion head coach of the Iowa Western Community College Reavers. Awesome stuff. Clarification there. I mean, he told us, he goes, yeah, doesn't have eligibility left in JUCO. All right, good to know.
Played too many years to be eligible for JUCO.
That and the information in terms of NAIA doesn't seem like an option for him either. Mm-hmm. So the CFL,
UFL, one of them will probably take them.
You remember when Johnny Manziel played in the CFL and it was on ESPN and it was a really, really big deal, and then he ended up it did not go well. It did not go well at all. Yeah, but like his first game on the CFL, if I remember correctly, was on the same day as the Hall of Fame preseason game.
Oh, okay. So it would be a real referendum on what people wanted to see.
Exactly. So I think it was like the Jacksonville was playing in the Hall of Fame game against
Of course.
Tennessee, or maybe I think it might have been Houston, but they were in the Oilers jerseys or something. I don't know. I don't remember. But Johnny Manziel played in a CFL game, and then it went terrible because I bet that he watched the same amount of film for the CFL as he did for the NFL, which was 0. So great interview there from head coach of the Iowa Western Community College Reavers, Mr. Scott Strohmeyer. Coach Stroh, always the best. Coming up next, we will continue to talk about the Diana Rossini article. And when I mean talk about, I'm just going to go ahead and read some funny things from it. Also, though, let's talk about the best thing the Nebraska Cornhuskers did for football in the offseason, according to The Athletic, coming up next year on Middays with Matt on a Wacky Guess Wednesday on the 1620 Zone Radio Network.
Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
As part of its review, The Athletic is looking into quote unquote Diana's involvement in a January 2025 article, quote, inside Mike Vrabel's year off, Miss Haas said. The roughly 4,400 word article was written by another reporter, Zach Rosenblatt, after Miss Rossini helped broker the coach's cooperation arranging breakfast for the three of them so Mr. Rosenblatt could make his pitch. To report this article, Times journalists interviewed more than 36 people in and around the industry, many of whom who have worked with Miss Rossini during her 2-decade career. Many spoke on the condition of anonymity because they did not want to risk their own livelihoods or because they did not want their names connected to a story that has generated such social media intrigue, private pain, and professional angst. Miss Rossini was sent a detailed memo laying out the Times reporting. She declined several requests for an interview. Neither she nor Vrabel commented for this article on whether the relationship had ever been romantic. As we continue to read the New York Times article of Vrabel. And
got it right here.
13 pages. We have been diligently wafting through it, trying to find details, trying to find the little tidbits that none of you want to find. Connor Happer doesn't want to read, said Connor Happer, according to multiple sources.
He was waiting for an aggregator to do it for him.
We are the Mick Aggregation Show here on the 1620 The Zone Radio Network. Scholars of our time on the radio who spend it reading with our eyes and our mind. This article sucks.
Oh, no.
It's a lot of the crap we already know. I haven't read anything that I did not previously know about the situation other than two things.
I mean, do I want to read it?
I did not know that, quote, Miss Rossini had good days. She helped break news in 2019 of the wide receiver Antonio Brown's messy departure from the Oakland Raiders, for instance, and bad ones. Later that year, she reported that Jacksonville was firing their head coach, Doug Marrone, but the team issued a statement calling her story, quote, 100% incorrect. Mr. Marrone would remain Jacksonville's coach for another year. I didn't know that she biffed that reporting. And I also didn't know she was making $800,000 to be the lead reporter for The Athletic in the NFL. $800,000. My God. Also, it says here and they would know, the New York Times would know, they were planning on renewing her contract. So this cost her potentially $1 million just in 1 year. So tough, very tough indeed. But yeah, like I said, there's nothing juicy here. I want juice. You know, this is like
maybe the juice is in.
This is
the end of
Michael
the article.
Severe is going to get mad at me for like reading this and like making these jokes because he doesn't care. Funny enough, Brian or someone else that I was talking to also just did not care about the Vrabel Rossini stuff. It was someone else. It was an older broadcaster. But this is like my mom used to put on E! News on the TV.
Yeah.
And like watch shows about Johnny Depp and his life and like who was dating who and
messy.
Keeping up with the Kardashians and you know what Scott Disick doing nowadays and all that type of stuff. You know what I'm talking about? Like that's what my mom would do, right? Like she would watch documentaries on Chris Farley's death and be like, "Oh, what a troubled man."
I've watched one or two of those. Yeah.
All that stuff. You know, I've watched as many River Phoenix documentaries as I have the JFK assassination documentaries. Okay.
You should probably watch more JFK assassination documentaries. That's an interesting story. The River Phoenix one is pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, pretty is cut and dry. This is
Joaquin went on to do some nice things. Feels like you disagree.
Overrated.
Okay, I'll
Overrated.
I'll shake your hand on that. Yeah.
Overrated actor. Still a good actor.
Mhm.
But like we talk about him like he's God's gift to cinema.
Bit of a weirdo for being the sake of a weirdo.
Yeah. Seriously. This is my e-news. This is my version, right? Like, like my mom would put on the Oprah Winfrey show. That's just NFL Live for me, Like,
it's on in the afternoon. It's positive.
Seriously. Laura Rutledge and Oprah Winfrey. What is the difference?
I mean, there's probably a lot of differences.
There's a lot of differences.
Yeah.
I'm making a joke. I'm making a big joke. But this is I want some content. I want some things I didn't know about. I want the scoop. I want the tea.
Gotta read till the end.
I don't know. Where I think I'm getting to the juicy part here.
Okay.
Because we went from, this is one line I actually did not know this. Still, the friend said that Miss Rossini and Mr. Vrabel supported each other in their careers, and that after Mr. Vrabel was fired, Miss Rossini served as an unofficial advisor as he positioned himself for another top job in 2025 as he became the head coach of the Patriots. So I guess Rossini was advising Vrabel during his head coaching search.
Normal.
Yeah, super normal. So let's stop talking about that, though. Let's talk about something that people really want to talk about. The Nebraska football team.
Oh, Husker football.
Yes!
Remember them?
I do remember them. My great friend Dylan Raiola, I can't wait to see him sling it in year 3 here in Lincoln.
Matt,
I think he's going to take a big jump. What?
He did take a jump. He jumped to the city of Eugene, Oregon.
Whoa. Wait, sorry. I haven't paid attention to anything Husker football since the end of the season. I've been too invested in great sports like baseball and basketball. You're telling me Dylan isn't the quarterback anymore?
That is correct.
Well, they must have solved that problem quickly and got their first option at quarterback, right? They
got an option. Big Tone.
They didn't get their first option at quarterback?
They briefly flirted with another gentleman before he went to greener pastures in Kentucky.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I hope that an option that they got was that Kenny Minchie guy at Notre Dame. He barely lost the quarterback battle to CJ Clark at ND.
There. Yeah,
I think he'd be a great option for the Huskers. Is that the option they got? Josh?
Funny you bring that up. That was the brief flirtation.
Really? Wait,
they lost him to Kentucky.
To Kentucky?
Yeah.
That's a basketball school, Josh.
Some would disagree with that statement, but yes, generally they are a basketball school.
Who'd they get?
Anthony Calandria. You may know him from his previous work with the Rebels of UNLV.
Isn't that guy who threw double-digit interceptions at Virginia?
But double-digit touchdowns, too. I don't know if he did that year.
I'm kidding. I didn't mean. I didn't.
Hey, I was willing to go as long as we needed to go for you.
If I'm being honest with you, that was as good as acting as Joaquin Phoenix, if you ask me. In all jokes aside, I actually do think so.
What are we talking about in this Nebraska football segment? Are we talking about how they're bringing 3 almost nobodies to media days?
Whoa! It wasn't announced who they're bringing to media days.
Yes.
Can you tell me?
I can. I mean, they're not. I mean, it feels purposefully unflashy.
I'll tell you if they're nobodies.
Justin Evans.
I mean, he's going to be in he'll be an all Big Ten guy.
Sure. Andrew Marshall. Luke Lindenmeyer.
Those are their 3 of their better players.
That's part of the problem.
Yeah.
Follow-up question. Now that you know who will be Nebraska's representatives at Big Ten Media Days, would you like to go to Big Ten Media Days?
I like Luke Lindenmeyer, so yes,
okay,
I would. I'm a very big Luke Lindenmeyer fan. I don't think they utilized him nearly enough at the end of last year, and if they did, he would have.
Well, he was downfield, so it was just impossible.
If they utilized him more last year, he would have been in that top 5 tight ends in the Big Ten. And that came from Robin Washington, who helped make that.
He's smarter than me.
When you put it that way, I mean, nothing against those 3 guys, but when you're like, yeah, those are Nebraska's 3 best players, and then Ohio State is going to bring a first-round quarterback, a first-round wide receiver, and a first-round corner, you're like, oh, great. Here comes Oregon. They're bringing the best tight end in the country and the best quarterback in the country and one of the best wide receivers in the country. Oh, great. I think that's I think that's fine. I mean, Marshall and Evans, I expect to make Big Ten teams this year. And Luke should make a all Big Ten team, whether it be a team or an honorable mention, dependent on how much they throw him the ball, which they should throw him the ball more. This Athletic article, and this is why I was making the jokes about Anthony Calandria and Kenny Minchie. This Athletic article was about what was this writer's, Manny Navarro's, favorite move of the offseason for every single team.
Every single team. Okay.
This is what he wrote about Nebraska. He deemed their best offseason move hiring Rob Orich. Navarro says landing Anthony Calandria, the 2025 Mountain West Offensive Player of the Year, was a pretty good consolation prize after Kenny Minchie flipped his commitment to Kentucky. But the best move of the offseason by Matt Rule was hiring Orich to run the defense. San Diego State ranked 5th nationally in yards per play allowed in Orich's lone season as the Aztecs defensive coordinator. First off, I don't find Anthony Calandria to be a consolation prize to Kenny Minchie. I actually prefer Calandria over Minchie. Now, I think that Minchie will do well at Kentucky, but Kentucky's got two guys, Joe Sloan and Will Stein, who are very good at developing quarterbacks. I don't know how Minchie would have done at Nebraska. I don't. And I actually think I would rather have a guy who is coming off of a great season in the Mountain West Conference compared to a dude who his greatest accomplishment is losing a quarterback battle. The best thing that has ever happened to Kenny Minchie is Notre Dame saying that the quarterback battle was close. That's the best thing that's ever happened to him. It's made him millions of dollars. But if you're telling me, would you rather have the guy who's actually been out on the field and has a vast experience when it comes to playing quarterback at the Power 5 level and has played high-level quarterback at the Mountain West level, I would tell you, yeah, I would rather have Calandria than Minchie. So to call it a consolation prize, I wholeheartedly and passionately disagree. I think Nebraska fell backwards into the better option, in my opinion. And I think Minchie, honestly, if we're just going off of pedigree of quarterback development, he probably made the right decision for himself. Now, I don't know the financial components of that, but I imagine that after Kentucky was prepared to get Sam Levitt, who was the belle of the ball in terms of being everybody's favorite quarterback option, after they failed to get him, I imagine that they had some cash freed up to go ahead and entice Minchie away from Nebraska. Now, the Orich discussion. I agree. And this reminds me a lot of 2023 when they bring in Tony White and he has his system. And I think there is something to be said in terms of Nebraska just needing a new set of eyes on their current crop of talent, and Nebraska needing a guy who has a system that has proven to be successful, who can walk into a situation and say, okay, this is what I do. This is how we're going to be good. And these are the skill sets that I need from specific players in order to accomplish that. And so I think that is a big benefit from Orich. I think what needs to be said, though, is I'm going to read you some numbers. And then I'm going to tell you why, I don't really care. Okay? Because Nebraska ranks 12th in returning snaps this season in the country. They have the 12th most returning snap percentage from last season to this season. That's often a stat that people go, whoa, continuity. Whoa, you're bringing guys back. Hey, that typically is a stat where people go, hey, look at all the production that's returning. They have the 13th most defensive snaps returning in the country, and they have the 23rd most offensive snaps returning in the country. But whilst you might get excited about the continuity on defense with the 13th most defensive snaps coming back, the actual production numbers are much lower than that. Nebraska's returning production, and so this isn't just returning, this is just coming from the other guys that they've got. Their production nationally ranks 45th. They are 45th in tackles in last year's production coming back to play football this season. They are 47th in sacks. They are 53rd in pressures. They are 74th in interceptions, and they are 48th in havoc plays. What this tells me and what this communicates to me is that Nebraska has a lot of experience returning in terms of, in comparison to the rest of the country, the 13th most defensive snaps returning to that side of the ball, but they're inefficient. While they have the 13th most snaps coming back, they only are 45th in actual returning production. That's an efficiency problem. When you have a number that is way higher in terms of what the actual volume is, but the production is much lower than that, tells me that, yeah, you're bringing a lot of guys back, but how great are they? You know, how productive have they been? And so when you have an efficiency problem, you need somebody to fix that efficiency. You need somebody to fix that problem. You need somebody to tweak that. You need somebody to improve that. And that's exactly what Rob Borge is there to do at Nebraska. He is simply coming in and saying, all right, hey, Rob, we have a lot of guys who've played football. Andrew Marshall's played football. Cam Linhart's played football. Riley Van Poppel's played football. Even the guys who aren't coming back to this team specifically. Anthony Jones, Kashir Whittington, Damon Stoudemire, Owen Chambliss, Dexter Foster. They've all played P5 ball. They've all played at a pretty high level. We just need you to put the puzzle pieces together. We just need you to kind of trust your system, understand how to implement your system in the Big Ten, and then find the best player at that specific role. That's why I think this is a big deal because, you know, Nebraska has a lot of experience coming back. They've got guys who've covered plenty of blades of grass at the D1 college football level. They just need to be put in the best situation possible. And I think that is a theme that we have talked about with many of our guests when it comes to this football team in terms of were the players on last year's team consistently put in the best situation possible to succeed. I think you can make many arguments as to why that was not the case. And that is Rob Orge's number one job. You got guys who can play football, Rob. But you got to look at them and you got to say, you know what? You were playing here. You were aligned like this on the defensive line last year. If we move you over here, this is where you're going to have your best production. You were playing on this part of the field when it came to you being defensive back. It's going to play on the outside. We're going to move you to the nickel. We're going to move you to the corner. Hey, I think you're a guy that'd be great at our Sam position. I think you'd be a guy that'd be great at a rover position, so on and so forth. That's his job, which is why I agree with this. Nebraska's, like, everyone's talking about, like, the team being more talented this year than it was last year, and I don't disagree with the team being more talented on paper this season than they were last season. My worry, though, is that the last couple of weeks of the season are going to occur again, which is that flaw was so massive in the defensive line that teams like Utah, Iowa, and Penn State were able to take advantage of it over and over and over again. It's Rob Orge's job and Matt Rule's job and Corey Brown and Roy Manning's job to fix that, but to also put their players in the best position to succeed. And I think Rob Orge, with what he's proven at San Diego State, could be the guy to do that. And when we talk about who are the most important people on Nebraska's staff outside of Matt Rule, if you were to tell me Rob Orge, I would not blink at it 1 second. I would not. I'd actually agree with you at this point. He is the key to this season. We'll see how it turns out for him. All right, quick segment coming up, then Wacky Guess Wednesday here at 1 o'clock on Middays with Matt.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
1620 Zone, a couple minutes away from our Wacky Guest Wednesday. But before we get to our wacky guest, let's get to a wacky caller. Andrew, Creighton Andrew, more specifically, calls in on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Prairie Flower Casino, play longer, win more. Andrew, how are you?
Hey, I have a proclamation, or I don't know what you want to call it.
Perclamation.
But, yeah. Hopefully with Ulrich, it seemed like we were always slow on defense. Was that from not understanding what we were doing?
What?
Or
I'm confused. I'm confused. What's your question?
Okay, so we always seemed like we were a step behind speed-wise on defense.
Oh, okay. Okay. I hear you. Yeah.
Now, is that because we don't have the speed or a lack of understanding what this team was or what was won?
Yeah, I think you could probably say both. I mean, we had some great breakdowns during the football season of just there were times where, there are rules on defense in terms of, okay, are you setting the edges and kind of funneling everything towards the middle and the linebackers fill the gaps and that's how they, stop the run? Or do you spill everything to the outside and then the linebackers come on the outside and they clean that up? Like that was what Jay Moore described on multiple times. I was on the morning show with him talking to him. Like that's kind of the rules of the basic dumbed down rules of stopping run on defense. And it just seemed like they would set edges and then the linebackers and the people who are supposed to fill the gaps on the inside wouldn't fill the gaps. And then there were moments where, they would spill to the outside, but then nobody would be there to spill the outside. And so, as Jay would kind of say, they didn't know what they were doing. I do agree with you though, Andrew, if you were to go on like a compare and contrast of look at Miami's defense or look at Notre Dame's defense or look at the top defenses in the league, Texas A&M and Oklahoma, they just look like they're at a whole other gear than Nebraska athletes are. And so I think there's probably the answer to your question very lazily, but also pretty well explained by me is both.
Yeah, but it seems like we're like, I thought that we were recruiting speed. That was kind of one of Rule's things.
Yeah, but like those guys haven't been on the field. Bryce Turner hasn't been on the field. Jalen Lloyd isn't on the team anymore. Jaden Doss isn't, he hasn't been playing. I don't even think Jaden Doss is on the team anymore. The one guy who you did talk about the speed and you did talk about the athleticism is Jeremiah Charles. And it seems like he's finally getting ready to go ahead and have a role on this team this season. So, yeah, that was a factor, at least early on when he first got here. But those guys that they were recruiting to be those speedsters, they haven't come to fruition. So, I mean, it's a good observation by you, but it's not something that's been done. So, thanks, Andrew. Appreciate you.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, bye. Great, Andrew. Always calling in. That was I mean, it's a little bit of both. Could they be faster? Could they have more dudes? Absolutely. Were there moments on defense where people who understand the game greater than I do telling me they don't know what they're doing? Yeah, that happened plenty. Happened way too much. What doesn't happen too much is Wacky Guess Wednesday. It happens every Wednesday here on Middays with Matt. That's coming up next here on the 1620 Zone Radio Network.
It's Wacky Guess Wednesday. Middays with Matt. Who is our guest? We don't know. It could be anybody. It could be an actress. It could be a singer. Could be your mom. Let's go. They're in the green room. Who's our guest? We don't know. They're all booked up and they're ready to go. Hey, Josh, choose a guest. Make them interesting. Don't screw this up, or this will suck. It's Wacky Guess Wednesday.
All right, it's
Middays
Wacky
with
Guess
Matt.
Wednesday here on the 1620 The Zone Radio Network. Josh Odson, who do we have today?
We excuse me there, sorry. Bad start by me. Let's start over. Play the intro again. There's a special ceremony going on this week.
Yes.
And I'm about to email you the details on that. So
Okay. I'm ready.
That's coming your way.
Thank you.
Historical marker dedication ceremony right here in the area, across the river there in Council Bluffs. This is taking place tomorrow afternoon, 4:30, for a very special ballpark where a whole bunch of Major League Baseball Hall of Famers played, and they're going to have a dedication ceremony and something pretty cool happening in our own backyard. And I don't know, I've been told he's the brains of the whole operation.
Okay.
And he's joining us on the phone right now. His name is John Shorey.
John, how are you?
I'm doing well.
What so let's talk about this event. Where is it happening? And just kind of give me some details in terms of what you guys doing here around town.
Okay. The event is tomorrow afternoon at 4:30. It's the location where an old ballpark once stood in the west end of Council Bluffs. So we're having the dedication ceremony at, I guess you would call it, the corner of 35th Street, and there's a First Avenue bike path now, and that's where the marker is going to be installed.
Wow. And so the marker will honor Broadway Legion Park. It's described as a hallowed grounds venue of 25 MLB Hall of Famers and 6 official Major League games, and it'll happen tomorrow at 4:30 on the 1 block south of 35th Street and West Broadway in Council Bluffs. And John, you're a ballpark historian. Just kind of describe that to me in terms of when did you find a passion for ballparks, and when did this kind of mission for you become important in terms of making sure that former ballparks, you know, that have a ton of history like Broadway Legion Park need to be honored?
Well, I don't know if there's any one event. I've loved baseball my whole life, and the thing I really enjoy about baseball is the uniqueness of all the ballparks. I mean, most other sports, the playing field is the same no matter where you go, whether it's football or basketball or soccer. But with baseball, with the outfield dimensions, everything's unique, and that's something I find so fascinating. And so I love old ballparks, and I've lived in Council Bluffs now for over 40 years, and I didn't know much about, when I moved here, the ballpark no longer existed. And I found out through, doing some research in that it has an incredible history. As you mentioned, 25 Major League Baseball Hall of Famers have been at that venue, along with now officially 6 Major League games. So it's a pretty incredible story that now a lot of people know about.
What is your favorite ballpark that you've ever been to?
Well, I probably have to say Wrigley Field. I grew up in the Chicago area, so I'm a Cubs fan, so I'm kind of biased towards Wrigley. But I've been to PNC Park in Pittsburgh. That's really cool. Fenway, of course, is another one that's a great ballpark. So those are probably my top 3.
I'm from Skokie, Illinois, John. So I'm sure that you could probably put 2 and 2 together. Also, a pretty big Cub fan.
Right.
What is your favorite part about Wrigley? I'm going to be real with you. I have a controversial opinion when it comes to Wrigley in terms of I think it's awesome to go to Wrigley for one game, But I do think that when you go there, and I used to go there because we had season tickets about 15 to 20 times a year. When you go there a lot, you kind of find its flaws a little bit from just a logical ballpark. What is your kind of thoughts on that as in terms of Wrigley as a tourist attraction versus Wrigley as a place you regularly watch baseball?
Well, I think with the history of the ballpark. I'm was a history teacher. I'm retired now, so I love the history of the old ballparks and that, and how it was Bill Beck Jr. that put in the ivy, and just stories like that. But I like the setting of Wrigley, meaning I like the ballpark that's kind of in the old downtown area with bars around and stuff like that. So I think a part of the appeal, and the same for Fenway, when they're in the downtown area, part of a neighborhood, that's kind of a cool setting. So I think that's part of it.
Have you found any commonalities when it comes to the building of new ballparks? And is there anything in terms of when we build new ballparks? I know that Kansas City is looking to do that. The Royals are looking to do that in a little bit. Are there any things that, some commonalities or trends that you don't like when it comes to building brand new ballparks that more and more teams are doing?
No, actually, I think what I like is the new ballparks and the retro parks that started with Baltimore at Camden Yards. And since then, that's what a lot of the teams have done. I think that's what Kansas City's going to do because, right now, Kauffman Stadium's a nice ballpark and everything with the waterfalls, but it's surrounded by parking lot. And I think Kansas City now wants to put it downtown, have that kind of neighborhood atmosphere and stuff like that. And I think what a lot of the newer ballparks have done, before the retro parks, you had all the cookie cutter, circular stadiums. And I remember one baseball player, Richie Hebner, when he was playing, he would look around and he couldn't even tell where he was because they all looked the same. Whereas these new ballparks, especially like St. Louis, you got a real nice view of the arch in the distance from the ballpark. And that's where, Pittsburgh with, the bridges and, San Francisco with being right next to the bay. So they've tried to incorporate the community into the ballpark. And I think that's really cool.
You got a least favorite?
My least favorite that I just went to 2 years ago was Tropicana for the Devil Rays, or the Rays now, no longer the Devil Rays. That's I don't like a permanent dome. If you can remove the dome, Minnesota, I didn't like their old dome stadium, but probably the Rays stadium is the one that I found the least desirable.
John Shorey, a ballpark historian who will be leading the dedication of the historical marker dedication for Broadway and Legion Park Thursday, June 25th at 4:30, one block south of 35th Street and West Broadway in Council Bluffs. Also, by your answers, I could tell you probably like Miller Park in Milwaukee. Hard pressed to find a better retractable roof than that, eh?
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a great one. Now, John, before I let you go here, I want to thank you so much on coming on Middays with Matt and being our wacky guest this Wednesday. What can people expect at the program? You have multiple people talking. Marty Cordero is a good friend of ours who comes on this show pretty regularly, along with a former bat boy for the Kansas City Monarchs at Legion Park. What can people expect at this program, which begins at 4:30?
Yeah, well, it's not going to be a real long program, and I encourage anybody that's interested to stop on by. It's obviously free, and we'll have parking there, and just walk over. And the mayor of Council Bluffs is going to welcome everybody. Then I'll give a quick, maybe a 5-minute overview of the ballpark's history. Then Marty, as you mentioned, Cordero, the president and general manager of the Storm Chasers, will talk about kind of baseball and its connection to the community. And then I'm really excited. This gentleman by the name of Dean Wood, he grew up in Council Bluffs near where the ballpark was. And he would just be the typical kid, hang out at the ballpark all the time. And when the Monarchs would come to town, they needed a bat boy. And he got to be the bat boy for the Kansas City Monarchs. And he met some of the legends like Satchel Paige and people like that. So his memories will really add something to the to the ceremony they would have. And then I also have a friend that has it's called the Marsh Collection. He's got a lot of really cool baseball memorabilia, and he'll set up a display at the dedication ceremony as well.
John Shorey, ballpark historian, joining us here on Middays with Matt. John, thank you so much for giving us your time, and appreciate kind of all of your knowledge and previewing this event for a very interesting event that I'm sure a lot of people will come up and show up for. So thank you for joining us, my friend.
Well, thank you for the coverage, and and I encourage everyone to come tomorrow, 4:30.
The honoring of Broadway / Legion Park tomorrow, Thursday, June 25th, 2026, 4:30 p.m., 1 block away, or 1 block south of 35th Street on West Broadway in Council Bluffs. Thank you so much, God. You have a good one, my friend.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
Bye-bye. John Shorey, ballpark historian. Hell yeah. That's a great title.
You can flex that in conversation.
What are you? I'm a ballpark historian.
Whoa. Okay.
Jeez.
Like, there's no, when you, Matt McMaster, say, "Oh, I know baseball. I follow baseball."
Yeah,
people like to quiz you afterwards, and you don't like that, and that's totally fine to not like that. Like, don't do that to people. But
I'm always getting quizzed.
If a guy says he's a ballpark historian, I imagine there's not a lot of quizzing going on after that.
Anytime I talk to anybody over the age of 35 and I tell them my profession, it just turns into a pop quiz in English class. You know this guy? You know this guy? Oh, how do you not know that guy? He played for the Royals in 1993. It was their 7-hole hitter. He was a second baseman. You should know him. No, I don't know who that guy is. I'm sorry. So yes, you're completely you exposed me at the Omaha Baseball Village because you were like,
I figured it out.
You're like, Matt knows baseball. He doesn't like to present himself as baseball guy to avoid questions.
Mm-hmm.
1,000,000%.
Because you like the way you talk. I'm like, this guy doesn't give himself enough credit for what he knows. And then I was like, okay, why would he do that? And it kind of fell into place for me.
As somebody whose feet get held to the fire, which, by the way, I do often enjoy my feet getting held to said fire, unless you're telling me not to cover the news stories of the day, in which I'm going to backhand you with a snarky comment.
We could sell feet pics, a little extra money around the
station. I
station.
don't have good feet.
Okay. Some people are into that.
My psoriasis kind of messed my feet up a little bit.
Oh, okay.
That's way TMI, by the way.
Probably, yeah. But,
so much TMI there.
We're all rooting for you.
Yeah, I got it's going well so far.
Yeah.
I mean, shout out the people at that one place that I jab myself every 8 weeks. I got to jab myself.
Yeah.
By the way, first up, I've had a couple good tweets that nobody have understood. Do you mind if I read them?
Please. This is the perfect forum.
So yesterday, the reach of the draft was Dusty May and the Dallas Mavericks drafting Merez Johnson. Just for some clarification here, like,
yeah, but the Mavericks coach only knows like 3 basketball players that were eligible to be drafted.
A lot of things happened yesterday at the draft. Let's comb through them a couple of.
Now, you didn't
times.
Delete these if they didn't get traction?
No. No.
I'm
weird. I'm not a producer on the morning show. There are often plenty of tweets of mine that don't get liked, and I'm totally okay.
They're not all winners.
No, they are. So Dusty May drafts Merez Johnson. Merez Johnson, like, there was a consideration of him going back to college to make more money and play for Dusty May at Michigan. He decided to opt in to the NBA draft. He was like, kind of in the 20s, late teens, 20s, when it came to big board projections. He got drafted number 9 overall.
9.
Okay, 9 by Dusty May and the Dallas Mavericks. So I tweeted out, this is a great tweet that nobody got. Safe to say, Dusty's favorite kid, safe to say we know who was Dusty's favorite kid. I thought it was Cody or Roman, but I guess it was Merez.
Now, there's a couple of fandoms rolled into one in this tweet.
Man. That was pretty good.
You have Dusty Rhodes.
Sure.
Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, all WWE wrestlers.
But I was referencing Dusty May and Merez Johnson.
That's
How
right.
clever is that? That's a great tweet.
No, it's well written.
It's very well.
The Venn diagram of people that get it are me and
you.
I don't know, maybe Jon Stewart.
John Bishop might have gotten that.
Okay.
He might have.
Yeah.
That. Today, the official trailer for Quarterback Season 3 was released. It's going to be on Netflix.
Yes, we're still doing this show for some reason.
I enjoy it.
It worked one time.
One of my favorite traditions is watching 2 episodes of this and saying I'm no longer interested.
That's what I've done.
And so
year.
I'll watch the first 2 episodes of this and then I'll bail. The 4 quarterbacks being presented are Joe Flacco, Jaden Daniels, Cam Ward, and Baker Mayfield.
One of those is my quarterback, and I'm not excited to watch this at all.
Just real quick, like Cam Ward got bludgeoned the entire season. Joe Flacco got traded to Cincinnati midseason, and then they still missed the playoffs. Jaden Daniels suffered a very gruesome injury and did not live up to his potential in terms of the expectations for year 2. Baker Mayfield got off to an MVP start, got absolutely hammered and bruised, and then his team missed the playoffs. I tweeted out, there will not be one happy ending in this series.
Yeah, Joe Flacco is the most interesting storyline of those 4, and it's not interesting enough to get me to click play on it.
All of these guys had terrible years in one way or another, whether it be just personal performance or just, things did not work out. And I was like, oh, there won't be one happy ending. And then these heathens in my Twitter. One guy goes, Deshaun Watson checks into that statement.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Can we have a little decorum here? I was trying to be a serious Twitter account. And then Michael Severe,
I know him.
One of my radio dads goes, at least no one died.
Okay, I did see this tweet. At least no one died.
Like he's trying to give me perspective in terms of what matters in life. One guy is making inappropriate jokes, and the other guy is telling me there are greater things in life. How about I just pointed out something that's clear? This series is going to suck.
This feels like the last time we're going to do this, right?
Oh, the quarterback series?
Yeah.
Or Matt going through his tweets?
No, please go through the tweets. It's good. The series. We're done with this after this year, right?
I mean,
unless they get like what's the dork? The dork.
Pat Mahomes.
The dork.
Justin Herbert, Caleb Williams, Jordan Love,
Fernando Mendoza.
Oh, the dork. Is that what you're calling him? The dork?
I mean, he is a dork.
Yeah, but he's a great dork. I mean, he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
I mean, he's a great quarterback to be in Vegas because he's not going to be distracted by the social activities in Las Vegas.
That is the one thing where it's like, I don't know if Fernando Mendoza would have won with the Cowboys of the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they would have respected him. What do you mean no? What do you mean you're not going to do that? You're not
I'm Michael Irvin. Nobody tells me no.
We're loser recipes. Wood Africa goes WWE guy here. I got it.
There you go. See, they're out here in these streets.
This is it. This is it for quarterback, right? I mean, I agree with you. I mean, unless you pick, like, I'm going to be real with you. Like, they're trying to be fun and creative and contrarian. Like, oh, we're not going to pick the superstars. We're not going to pick Josh Allen and Josh Herbert and Pat Mahomes and Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow and, Caleb Williams. We're not going to pick the one. We're going to pick some a little bit more under the radar good quarterbacks with interesting stories. Sometimes you just need a headliner. You need a marquee. You need to pack a punch.
Yeah, but it's also it is a job that uniquely weeds out saying anything. Like I know they did a wide receiver one season.
I didn't
watch it. I don't know who the receivers were, but
Devontae Adams and I think Jamar Chase was in it. And it might have been Justin Jefferson. But that's but the wide receiver equivalent of the quarterbacks they picked this year is if they were to do Michael Pittman Jr., if they were to do George Pickens, if they were to pick Jawan Jennings and Jahan Dotson,
Woof.
Most of the people here listening
I
are
wouldn't
like,
even finish reading that article.
They're like, who are those? You're like, who's Jahan Dotson?
That's exactly what I said.
Like, that's kind of
I don't play fantasy football. I don't know who that is.
That's the quarterback equivalent of what they've picked. You want to learn more about Michael Pittman Jr.? How much more do I want to learn about Joe Flacco? I love you, Joe. I'm cool. I'm A-okay.
I would be interested in, like, is there a conversation with like him and his wife? Like, hey, I'm gonna go back. Joe, No, you can't keep doing this to us. Are you in or are you out, Joe?
Do you want to keep buying Chanel bags? You want to keep buying Gucci bags? Look at this house. All right. Is there a roof over your head? Is there 30,000 square feet of Italian marble and silk sheets that you wake up to? I got to take hits from grown men, lady.
Billy's tutors don't pay for themselves.
You're walking in here with your Prada slippers and your Dolce & Gabbana perfume. I got to throw checkdowns to Chase Brown if I'm going to pay for your Hot Works membership.
There's no reason to believe that this is what it's like in the Flacco household, but it's how I imagine it.
They're probably a beautiful family.
Yeah.
They probably love each other greatly. They probably support each other through their toughest endeavors. In particular, unemployment, something Joe Flacco has experienced a lot of over the last couple of years.
Honey, I don't think I'm going to be very good on the TV. I got to play while I can play.
Is that how he sounds? I'm
I
pretty
don't
sure
know.
he's like one of the more normal sounding quarterbacks.
You could play me a clip of Joe Flacco's post-game press conferences, and I wouldn't know who was talking.
You know what?
That's a good bit.
Can you imagine if like Xavier Leggett had you know who that is?
I know the name.
He's the yeah, pretty sure when he played at South Carolina, if I'm not mistaken, and he's got a very Southern accent, like a very Southern accent.
Oh yeah, I know this guy.
The most Southern.
I know this guy. Yep.
Like his Southern accent has a Southern accent.
Uh-huh.
Like that's.
I remember him going viral for his accent.
Can you imagine that guy like telling having the pitch com? What'd it say?
There's been a problem. He's tapping his pitch comm. He must not be able. The battery must.
No,
have
it's
died.
working. It's working. He just doesn't understand Xavier Leggett.
That one's free, Josh. Take that one for your next sideline report.
This is a segment we should have done at the OBV. If you were to pick your pitch comm voices, who would you pick?
Like me personally?
Yeah, you personally. You get to have any voice in your ear telling you what to pitch. What would you pick?
I just thought of how funny it would be if LSU used Ed Orgeron.
Fastball outside.
Slider. Slider, go Tigers.
After every pitch, it's go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Well, fastball out. Todd. Throw the fastball outside, Todd. What I like here is a nice slider on the outside corner. Get him looking, hopefully swinging, set you up for a nice 1-1 gout.
You would pick Frank Caliendo doing
2-1 count. What we want to do here, we went we went high with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Our strategy here, little bit low and outside with the changeup, 82 miles an hour. Todd, throw the curveball. John Madden.
Okay.
Or Frank Lay, fastball, middle in. What a terrible pitch that was. What a terrible pitch. We have to recover here. Curveball low.
Just have it critiquing you the whole game. Pre-recorded critique.
What a phenomenal pitch. Only I throw that pitch better than you just threw that pitch. You had a fastball looking there. He would have swung at my fastball. Let's go back to the well. Fastball, upper corner.
Oh, the chat says Harry Carey.
Hi, everybody. Fastball. Outside.
I guess it's gotten better, but it's not as good as somebody from Skokie
Knuckle
should be.
curve. If the moon were made of spare ribs, would you throw a spitball?
It's just not. It's not there yet. Maybe we need to get Frank on the horn.
I think Frank might be calling.
We can fix it.
Can Larry the Cable Guy call in right now and give us what Mater would sound like? And a pitch comp?
It feels like that would cost us a lot of
You're
money.
my best friend.
That was your Mater?
Stop it. I don't have a Mater. Stop it. As we have some text message coming in. Oh, Husker meme guy goes, Tucker Carlson. What are we doing here? What's going on? Throw the fastball on the outside. Can I read this? Tucker Carlson. The liberal media would have you believe it's time for the curveball. A real alpha male would give him the heat. What are we doing?
What are we doing? Yep, you got to end.
What's going on?
Yep.
And I'm supposed to be attracted to that?
He just has a unique cadence. It's not.
Jay Skirtai goes easy. Sam Elliott.
Oh, okay, sure. Do you have a Sam Elliott in your bag?
I don't even.
You know Sam Elliott. Take a look at Sam Elliott, and you'll go, "Oh, the cowboy."
You know, it's nice to me on a show too when I say some I don't know somebody that I'm not immediately shamed. You just go look it up. It's okay.
Big
Sam.
Lebowski.
Oh, I know Sam.
Yeah,
Elliott.
you know Sam Elliott.
Yeah. He's in
Roadhouse.
The Ranch.
The Ranch.
The Ranch.
Oh, the Netflix show.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Ashton Kutcher is in it.
Yeah, I think he at least he was. I don't know if he is anymore.
Is he not doing anything anymore?
He seems to have stepped away from public.
Yeah, it's The Ranch is what he's
Big investment guy.
Yeah.
Big Danny Masterson defender. Probably shouldn't have done that.
Well, Danny Masterson is in The Ranch.
Then this is an old television show.
Yeah, very old television show. All right. What's not an old television show is Middays with Matt. It's actually a fairly relatively new radio show. And we try and do high quality radio, which we will try to do. You can't give me wait. I can't go. We try and do high quality radio and you go.
Maybe that's what you're trying to do. I'm just trying to get to 2:00.
I'm just trying to get to the next segment, which is what we have to do to get to 2:00. We want to do the same thing. Here on Middays with Matt.
Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Oh, sorry. Are we on the air?
We are on the air.
Oh my
We
God,
are
I'm
back.
so sorry.
You have so many
I'm just-
papers in
I'm-
front of you.
I'm-
It's a long read in the New York Times.
It's 14 pages. I'm getting lost. I'm getting lost in the writing. I don't.
Probably learning a lot.
I have dove deep into the words of this article. I just can't
Probably
find
a lot
my
of
way.
receipts and
So many
vouchers and
so many insider reports
paper
and,
trails.
and just kissing at a Tribeca bar, and I think they're in Sedona now. I don't know. I'm lost.
You
I'm
should
lost.
all be so lucky.
I'm lost in the article. I'm lost in the reading. It actually is. You want to wait real quick? I lost it. Where is it? Okay, here we go. The next month, Miss Rossini represented the Athletic at the State of the Times, an annual day-long presentation by the Times company's top executives and journalists about the company's strategies and recent success, appearing with 3 colleagues to discuss the power of video. She again name-checked a certain coach. I did an interview with the Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel, she began. The interview, she explained, was stilted and boring. She asked him what she would call a quote-unquote throwaway question, inviting Mr. Vrabel to share a pet peeve. The Patriots coach told her how much it angered him when he spotted able-bodied interlopers parked in designated handicap parking spots. This person who was so robotic on every single thing we were just talking about in regards to the NFL, but when it came to real-life things, he just opened up. The video, she said, went everywhere. She said because everyone can relate. It's insane, Miss Rossini told the audience, describing her thoughts during the interview. I'm like, what's wrong with this person? What is wrong with the Kraft family for hiring this man? She said, referring to the owners of the Patriots. But obviously, he's pretty good, right? He went to the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah. He
is
well regarded as a good coach.
It's incredible, though. That's probably the only new piece of information we found in this way too long, way too descriptive, already things we already know about Diane Rossini article, where basically she was trying to play off that she was like, oh, why would they hire this guy? This guy's crazy. And then a couple of days after that, she was caught in Sedona with the man. So we'll continue to jokingly read that in terms of I look, just real quickly before we move on, just reading this thing that has no new information in it so far. Like, I don't know what this accomplishes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know really, he ain't nothing in here that's going to make the Patriots not want him to coach anymore. There's no new information. And she already lost his job. So it's just like, honestly, this 13-page article has made me less interested in this entire thing. Okay, we get it. Unless there's something in these last 4 pages that I have not found.
Oh,
I really couldn't care less about the situation anymore, if I'm being frank with it. Let's go ahead and let's talk about the 5-for-5 rule real quick. Because, there was some initial reporting on this stuff in terms of, obviously, the groundwork of what everybody knows. You have 5 years to play, 5 seasons in NCAA sports now, something that a lot of people have wanted for a while. Originally, this rule was made in order for once you graduate high school, then your clock begins. Then it was adjusted to accommodate more so prep schools who allow athletes to get older than 18 before they go ahead and enroll in colleges for basketball, and then also junior hockey. And if they went with the original 5-for-5 rule, which was when you turn 19 or when you graduate high school, then it would have really mucked up some things when it came to NCAA hockey. So they've adjusted these rules and tweaked them so junior hockey isn't as effective as it was in the past, as it would have been in the original kind of drawing up of this. But my first reaction to this when I saw the 5-for-5 rule, and specifically this rule I'm about to read for you, for currently enrolled athletes who still have eligibility, or no, not that one. It was, I've lost it here. But basically, as soon as I saw the rule that said athletes whose eligibility ended in the spring of 2026, they won't have an extra year, I thought, I wonder how that's going to go. I wonder how that's going to float over. And I'm always reminded of saying, there will be lawyers. And if you were to make a theme of college sports over the last couple of years, I would tell you that theme would just be best titled, There Will Be Lawyers, because it feels like that's the one constant that we've had. The one constant that I feel like, and especially over the last 18 months, that has existed within college sports is, if it's something happens that you don't like, you can always take them to court. We can name so many different athletes who have had plenty of different court cases that had to do with a bunch of different things. Bediako, Chambliss, Sorsby, who is that kid? Trey Ziegler. Remember Trey Ziegler? He was trying to be the Tennessee basketball guard. He went to court. He tried to get eligibility. Diego Pavia trying to get extra eligibility. Just a lot of athletes who have consistently gone to court to try and do these things. And so you hear, hey, your eligibility ends in 2026. My first reaction is, I wonder what that litigation is going to look like. Here's quotes from an Athletic article. And legal challenges to the new rule are already on their way. Darren Heitner, a Florida-based lawyer who has worked on many high-profile name, image, and likeness cases, confirmed that multiple lawsuits on behalf of athletes seeking an additional year of eligibility will be filed this week. Heitner said his firm is currently engaged with 55 basketball players, but the number is growing and athletes in other sports are expected to sign up as well. All the athletes who would file suit completed their 4th year of competition in spring 2026 and would be seeking a 5th year. And it's just like one of those things where it's like, okay, I get it. These athletes understand that an extra year of playing college sports, they would only stand to benefit not only from being in the public eye, but also monetarily. There's also a part of me that's just like, will this ever end? Like, can we all at one point, can we all just kind of go, all right, my time's up. Played college sports. I don't know if that was completely fair, but it's going to kind of move on. All right. I mean, everything that happens that seems like is progress, every step at every point that the NCAA has taken that you finally think is going to be good for them. It feels like every single time we're moving in the right direction, there is always an entity that goes, nope, not for me. No, thank you. Oh, House settlement, CSC. Nope, those rules aren't for me. We're gonna do it all a whole different way. Oh, you're trying to limit the number of the roster? Nope. We're not gonna allow ourselves to not spend X amount of money. We're gonna do all this way. You're saying that I don't have eligibility anymore? Nope, I'm suing you. Oh, you're saying that I can't play because I gamble on games? Nope, not for me. I'm gonna sue you. I mean, that is just, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating that at any point there seems to be some sort of progress into getting this thing to be a more organized and well-oiled machine, that there just always seems to be some sort of caveat, some sort of asterisk, some sort of, just wait 1 second. That thing that you're trying to get done, no, not going to happen. By the way, talking about the CSC, interesting news dropped earlier today that they have changed the rules in terms of how much money you can get through the clearinghouse without, or how much money you can give an athlete without having to go through the clearinghouse. If you remember, it used to be $600. Now, and this was a tweet from Pete Nakos yesterday, College Sports Commission will not subject deals valued between $600 and $15,000 to review unless and until an athlete has exceeded $50,000 in associated deals in an academic year, per a memo sent to schools on Tuesday, which now means that opposed to that $600 mark that you had to get cleared through the CSC, that number is now up to $15,000. So a donor hypothetically can give an athlete $14,999, and it's whatever until that athlete gets over $50,000. And the reason why this is being implemented, and if we've talked about this a lot in articles we've read on the air, the CSC is just simply not moving in the way in the speed that it needs to. And so this rule is going to try and help speed that process up. All right, we're going to speed through the end of the show here as we cross over the sportsmanlike conduct, what to watch, and dog of the day coming up next. Josh, what are we watching?
We are watching a quadruple header on MLB Network. I know, it's exciting. No?
Really?
Really, yeah. The Miami Marlins just beat the Texas Rangers.
Oh, rivet.
Coming up next, Red Sox, they're out west taking on the Rockies at 2 o'clock on MLB Network. Cubs and Mets, 7 o'clock. That's game 2 of a doubleheader. Francisco Lindor will be activated off the IL for game 2 tonight for the Mets. Athletics and Giants at 9 o'clock. Second round of the NBA draft is an option, 7 o'clock on ABC and ESPN.
That quadruple header sucks. All those teams are bad. The Red Sox are bad. The Rockies are bad. The Cubs are struggling. The Mets are bad.
Mm-hmm.
Where were the Athletics? They're terrible. Right. The Giants are even worse.
That's right. WNBA, Phoenix Mercury, Indiana Fever, 6:30 on USA. It's followed by the Atlanta Dream and the Golden State Valkyries at 9 o'clock on USA or CNBC. It's on 2 networks for some reason. 6 matches in the World Cup today. I don't know.
6?
Yeah. Switzerland, Canada at 2 on Fox. Scotland, Brazil at 5. Czechia, and Mexico at 8. And then the latest Avatar movie is finally on Disney Plus.
I thought you were going to say more. You're going to say more World Cup games.
I mean, do you really want to talk Bosnia Qatar at 2 o'clock on FS1?
It's Qatar.
Both pronunciations are acceptable.
Qatar you can say it like the diamond cutter?
Yeah, both.
Wow.
Both pronunciations are acceptable.
I did not know that. Look at me being just non-cultured, unlike Josh Hodson.
That's right. Morocco, Haiti at 5 o'clock.
I believe it's Hati.
All right, folks, let's talk right now. I'm going to kill your bookmaker. I'm going to rip his throat out. I will blow this man out. I will step on his throat until the man chokes. Let me tell you how. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. I'm on a roll.
Dude, you got to love dogs, right?
All right, Switzerland plays Canada in about 20 minutes. Give me Canada plus 223.
To win?
To win outright against Switzerland.
I assume they're a home team. I assume it's in Vancouver or something.
It is in. I have no idea where it's at.
All right.
When we can find out. Is it in British Columbia, or maybe it's in Saskatchewan? Maybe it's in the St. Edwards Islands.
Look at all these places.
Or Manitoba. Or
in Vancouver.
It's in Vancouver, British Columbia. Okay, very good to know.
BC.
Or Newfoundland, or the Northwest Territories. Just some of the provinces of Canada.
This guy knows Maple Leaf.
And I know flags.
That's right. And not you really do.
Not just Cooper flag, but like the actual flag.
He does. He played it throughout the week at the Village.
I cannot wait to play Flaggle next year before we get to the crossover on 1620 The Zone. USC and the boys are coming up next here on the 1620 The Zone Radio Network.